This is one of them films where you go, there you go, it started.
So, a bit of a masterclass in science fiction filmmaking to me.
It's all so dour, and I fucking love it, man.
It's a perfect blend of technical wizardry, but done with heart and soul behind it.
Intelligent, moving, thrilling, and massively relevant.
Watching this in 2026, it's one hell of a trip.
I didn't quite get it then, but Christ, I get it now.
Not everyone knows it, but the people who do know it get very, very passionate about it.
Really powerful, really uncomfortable filmmaking, which is exactly, I think, what Cuarón's going for.
All the right movies.
Hello and welcome to All the Right Movies, humanity's last hope. Not really, thankfully.
Thankfully, yeah.
We'd be screwed.
We would be.
But we are telling the story of Hollywood one film at a time, and this episode puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Too much perspective.
Too much perspective.
Too much of anything. Too much bloody perspective, if anything.
Yeah, so this week it's all about a childless future as we get into Alfonso Cuarón's dystopian downer, Children of Men. Before we pull the pin on mankind, though, a word about our ATR and patrons.
Let's do the happy stuff first.
Yep, get that out of the way.
If you like what we do on our flagship episodes like this, you can support us and get bonus content by becoming an ATRM patron. Patrons get our monthly bonus show Double Feature, where we talk 2 films, and the Watch List, our monthly review show, as well as access to the entire back catalogue of bonus episodes and archived episodes of this, our main show, and you'll receive our monthly newsletter and loads more as well.
Loads more. And there's 6 films on the watch list as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you like dystopian futures, in that archive we have The Terminator and Blade Runner 2049.
Lovely.
We do.
All the periods and genres are covered, though. An opportunity that's so good, it could even cheer up Clive Owen, maybe?
It would take a lot, but possibly, yeah.
Like a big bottle of bells.
So go to patreon.com/all the right movies or hit the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube for access.
Absolutely.
But Children of Men, it's bleak, it's grim, which can mean only one thing. This was your choice, Westy. So why are we talking about it?
Well, I mean, I believe the children are our future.
Is that on the soundtrack?
That is, it was my version. It didn't involve it. I sent it in. I mean, this film for me really, really stands out. It always has. It was really affecting the first time I saw it, 2006. It's just, I didn't quite get it then, but Christ, I get it now. It's just so well, it's aged so well for a start.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculously good. It was incredible in the cinema. I remember it finished, and you just get the child's voices over that like last title card, and it was silence. It was just like everyone was scared to move first, just in case. So just kind of like, it was just that moment where it was just really somber, but again, like just this level of realization. It's just really sober and feeling at the end of the film, and I still get it now. I think its impact has not lessened over the years. I think it's just got stronger, and it's just become even more terrifying to watch this film, especially now. It's become more and more relevant. You really need to plug in. You really need to sit down. This was made for the cinema, and I don't think it was out long enough for people to really appreciate it. I would love for this to come out for another run. People to go back in, sit, watch it, come out and talk about it properly, because I really do think it's a film that people need to sit up and listen to.
Yeah, I was aware of Children of Men before the film because as a teenager I went through a phase where I devoured all these classic dystopian science fiction novels like 1984, Brave New World, Fahrenheit 451, all that kind of stuff. And one of them was The Children of Men by P.D. James. I liked the book, so when I heard a film adaptation was in the works a few years later, I was really excited for it. And I knew Alfonso Cuarón from the Harry Potter film he directed.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
The best Harry Potter film for me.
Yeah.
So knew he had an eye for visuals and storytelling, and first time round, Children of Men, the film, it didn't disappoint.
Right.
So obviously I'll talk about why as we go, but there's a load to cover on this. The pretty unique concept is interesting.
Yeah.
The themes it explores are as well. Some big names in the cast, some big names in the crew. And the first time we've covered Alfonso Cuarón, I mean, that was a guarantee at some point, I think.
Yeah.
And it won't be the last time either, I imagine.
No,
so
definitely not, no.
This should be a great place to start.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And Matt, what's your deal with Children of Men?
I think this one is one that is permanently flying under the radar, and I know that's not contradictory considering it won the poll, but this is a film where not everyone knows it, but the people who do know it get very, very passionate about it. And I'll be honest, it's flown under the radar a bit for me as well. It's not one I've watched a lot, and that's because of one particular thing about it, really, which I'll address when we get there. So I'll just say 2 more things about it. Firstly, I'm really, really glad I've come back to it and given it the attention it deserves. And secondly, as we've been saying, watching this in the year of our Lord 2026, it's one hell of a trip.
It really is. So Children of Men was produced by Strike Entertainment, Hit and Run Productions and Toho Toa, distributed by Universal Pictures and released on September the 22nd, 2006. Filmed in England, Argentina and Uruguay, it was directed by Alfonso Cuarón with a screenplay by Cuarón, Timothy J. Sexton, David Arata, Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby, based on P.D. James' 1992 novel The Children of Men. It stars Clive Owen as Theo Farron, Clay Hope Ashiti as Key, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Luke, Julianne Moore as Julian Taylor, and Michael Caine as Jasper Palmer, the old hippie.
John Lennon.
Well, let's get ourselves to London 2027 then, should we?
Yeah, let's do that.
It's the morning commute in the big smoke. It's the beginning of Children of Men.
The beginning.
Children of Men opens not with the big bang, but a big bang, as we're thrown into 16th November 2027. We're going to be talking about the moments where our hero is abducted by an immigrants' rights group, but first, that explosion and the intros to some key characters.
Yeah.
So we start with Theo Farron in a crowded London cafe and the world mourning the death of baby Diego, the world's youngest person.
Yeah.
A supposed terrorist bomb explodes and we then meet Theo's best pal Jasper, the Woodstock throwback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coffee's to start, Westy.
Yep.
Good way to begin the day for you?
Yeah, 2 sugars. Lovely.
No sweeteners?
No, just whiskey.
Irish.
I just make it Irish, yeah. I mean, this is an incredible sequence. There's been so many times. And one of my pet hates is when I'm watching a film with someone who are halfway through and like, when's this going to start? You ever experienced that? I fucking hate that. And this is one of them films where you go, there you go. It started.
Yeah.
Bang! Right in your face. And you cannot ignore it. It's so powerful. It's so well done. But there's so much in this one sequence that makes it so exciting and paints the picture of the whole film. I mean, there's the woman holding the dog that you don't realise anything about, but then pets are like children, so they're immediately evident. What's that doing in a coffee shop? What you holding it for? And there's all of these kind of... Theo comes in. He ignores the television. He's totally apathetic. He doesn't give a shit. He just wants the coffee straight in, straight out. And the camera just moves around just so nicely. And you get that wallop of that explosion. And just that ringing. And then that victim walking out, that woman walking out, just holding her arm.
Yeah.
Now, that cut to that title sequence is one of the most powerful moments.
I love it. It's great,
of any kind of like title. I love it when it just smash cuts like that. When it's just you're in the middle of something, you're kind of halfway through breathing in. You're like, and it stops you breathing out. I think that's just a really...
It's almost like a TV show more than a film in some ways.
At that point, I think a lot of like TV shows from then have just really taken this on board and went, oh, that's how you do the first episode. And then you would end and say, right, we're into the second one. So people have taken full episodes from this one sequence and this one explosion. If it cuts to that Children of Men title sequence and you feel uncomfortable, don't watch the rest of it. Because it just sets the tone beautifully.
Yeah, well, I love a good dystopian science fiction film, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
And one of my favourite parts is always the first act and seeing how they build the world up.
Yeah.
And within minutes, it's obvious we're in safe hands with Cuarón. That shot in the coffee shop, literally everyone watching the broadcast about baby Diego, he doesn't tell us it's big news, he just shows us.
Yeah.
Love the tracking shot in the London street, the digital ads in the background that are like propaganda, and all the multiculturalism on the street. And then the colours are all like grim and desaturated. They're always feeding us info and creating the world like in the background.
Yeah.
But also they're building the character of Theo as well, because we see him just after this in his office. He's just been involved in a terrorist attack, but the thing that he uses as an excuse to get out of work is the death of baby Diego.
Yeah.
So the priorities of him and society seem a bit lost, or different at least. So it is a different world, but still really recognisable to us, I think.
Not in 2006 as much, but like even like in the wake of 9/11, I think if you looked at the amount of places now where it's please report suspicious activity, and you're just like, right, is it your bag? Has someone else touched it? Let's look, see it sorted. If you're on a train to London, it's constantly reminding you that if you see something suspicious, it's all over the place now. Back then, it was kind of like, we're never going to be that paranoid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all done almost entirely with visuals and not many words. I love it as an opening.
Yeah, it's great.
And the terrorist attack takes place in Fleet Street, and it was scheduled to be shot down location. About a month earlier, though, the London bombings on July 7th happened, and Cuarón said he never considered changing the film location because London is so heavily part of the script.
Yeah,
he said at that point it would have been impossible to film anywhere but London. I mean, that's something though, isn't it? The script was like on the money, unfortunately. I mean, that's not the last time we'll be saying that, I don't think.
No,
Definitely
very
not.
much.
No. And the scene is presented as being one continuous take, but it's actually two shots together. The visual effects supervisor, Fraser Churchill, said it was filmed over 2 days. Day 1, they filmed the coffee shop interiors and Theo walking out onto the street. Then day 2, they captured the explosion and the aftermath. The 2 shots were then combined digitally to create the effect of one unbroken take.
Right.
Yeah, so 2 main effects teams worked on this, Double Negative and Frame Store, 2 of the big boys. And the explosion had to be 2 shots, really. The first shot's in the cafe, like you say, and then for the shot on the street, they had to empty the coffee shop and then rig it with explosives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they didn't just blow the extras up.
No.
James Cameron.
No, James Cameron stand no.
Yeah. Loads of tea ladies in there.
And Double Negative were the effects team who did this shot, and the transition between the 2 takes comes in a couple of seconds when Theo looks in the window and sees his reflection.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's really clever, that transition. It's totally seamless, but if you watch it again, I think you'd probably pick it out just because there's nowhere else that can transition it, really.
Yeah, it's just when he leaves, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And Double Negative's work on this shot didn't end there. The couple who get blown across the street were stunt actors added digitally in post. We also see the Shard skyscraper in the background. That wasn't built until 2009, so they added it based on architectural drawings, and Double Negative also added all the digital ads to the buses and screens in post-production.
Yeah, I love all those ads as world building. It's like a bit of future tech, but also shows us the propaganda of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's only set about 20 years in the future from when it was made, but this is one of the best future predictions I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah.
Slightly more accurate than Back to the Future Part 2.
Yeah. We'll get to that. Yeah.
The opening scene has a cameo from the author of the novel. We see P.D. James as one of the people in the coffee shop. She's the older lady next to Theo holding the dog.
Yeah, lovely cameo.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, gets blown up within seconds, but apart from that, it is nice to see her in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Definitely. And the script contains references to real-life inspirations and art all the way through, and we get some in the first few minutes. After the explosion, we see that Theo works at the Ministry of Energy, and this is taken from George Orwell's 1984, where the government is split into ministries that handle different functions, and we see the same idea in Terry Gilliam's Brazil as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, filmed on location at Lawrence Hall, that office scene, which is where the annual RHS flower show takes place.
Right.
But there's another literary reference not long after this. You know when Theo's kidnapped by the fishers, like bundle him into a van? The van's marked Holden and Sons. That is a reference to Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, where the protagonist is Holden Caulfield,
Holden
another
Caulfield, right,
rebel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love an artistic reference, me.
Yeah.
It kind of shows the writers are really into it when they're dropping them kind of things in.
Yes, there's no need for that, but yeah, may as well put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after this, we finally get a little bit of light relief when we meet Jasper. I mean, I'm not expecting to see Michael Caine as an aging hippie playing air-based to jungle music, but I'm so glad that he's here because he's such a great character. Like I say, he brings a little bit of light relief that you need at this point. He tells jokes, pull my finger, crap jokes, but they really work because he's the exact type of friend you need in a situation like this. But you get some brilliant visual storytelling as well when they get to his house. That pan across the wall of photos and news clippings tells you all you need to know about who Jasper is, what he stands for, you know, no war in Iraq, which was still so relevant in 2006. We see what his wife stood for, and most disturbingly of all, though, just how bad this totalitarian government is, because they're not just victimising refugees and immigrants, they're going after homeborn British citizens as well. You know, his wife, because she's refused to toe the government line and they've tortured her. All out with not one word of dialogue. It's superb writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I like that opening shot as well that runs across all his pictures and papers to give the backstory. It's like a classic technique, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that definitely reminds me of Back to the Future. That starts the same way.
Right, yeah.
No shot of Jasper hanging off a clock, unfortunately.
No, sadly not.
We do see pictures of Jasper winning like political cartoonist of the year awards, which I like as his backstory.
Yeah.
And there's more great world building when we meet Jasper's wife Janice. Yeah, she is catatonic from being tortured by the government. How dark's that? That's more 1984 vibes.
Yeah, it's really dark, yeah. And I think the thing is as well, just from Caine's performance, you can imagine him as a political cartoonist.
Yeah, definitely.
He's like, his sense of humour kind of comes across, and it would be really cutting.
Yeah, really good. We also get the setup of Quietus, the legal euthanasia drug. But narratively it's important because this is the only place and time in probably the whole film where we see Theo seem happy and relaxed.
Yeah.
Like shoes off, on the doobies, having a lovely old time.
Yeah.
Cough.
And we get the setup of the pull more finger gag, which I could do without, if I'm honest.
Right,
Homer
okay.
Simpson. But apart from that, Jasper's great, obviously. One of the few sources of joy in the film. So I totally buy it as well later on when Theo takes Key and Miriam to Jasper's to hide out.
Yeah.
And for anyone interested, yes, Jasper's weed strain, strawberry cough, that is real.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, John.
Yeah.
And Cuarón said that Caine based his performance as Jasper on John Lennon. Caine had been friends with Lennon since they met in the 60s, and he pitched the idea to Cuarón when they first met about Caine being in the film. Cuarón loved the idea, so Caine based Jasper's body language and nasal voice on Lennon, and the makeup and costume teams gave him Lennon-style hair and glasses.
Yeah, once you know that, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mr. Trick not getting all four of them in there. Theo on the drums like Ringo. It would be great. But yeah, Caine and Lennon, I think they met at the 1965 Cannes Film Festival because Caine was promoting the Ipcris file and Lennon was there for help.
Ah, right.
And Jasper's backstory is that he was a political activist, specifically a political cartoonist. He has some of his drawings on display and they were created by Steve Bell. He was a cartoonist for the Guardian newspaper at the time, famous for his political comic strip If, which ran from 1982 to 2021.
Yeah, If was really good. I did loads of stuff, Steve Bell. He also did some artwork for Sandinista, the Clash album.
Right. Oh, yeah.
All right.
They weren't averse to a bit of politics either.
No.
But the cartoons are great. There's one of Bexhill, the refugee camp. It's like a Wish You Were Here postcard, whichever you like.
Yeah.
Great.
And all of the forest scenes in the film were shot at Bourne Woods in Surrey. This includes the scenes around Jasper's house and the car ambush, which we'll talk about shortly. Bourne Woods has since become a Hollywood go-to location in the 21st century. Harry Potter, Jurassic World and Marvel films have all shot there. And the opening battle in Gladiator was shot there as well.
Nice.
It was. I think Warhorse was filmed there as well.
Right.
Possibly,
Okay.
yeah. Would have been, yeah.
I'm surprised any of it left after Ridley Scott burned it all down.
Yeah.
It looked like.
Yeah.
It's just grown back.
Yeah.
And that's the opening to Children of Men. Explosions, ministries, and Michael Caine as John Lennon. We've met Theo and Jasper. Time to meet the woman who's going to drag Theo back into the real world.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So back in London, Theo was kidnapped by an underground resistance movement called the Fishers, led by Theo's ex-wife, Julian Taylor. She needs his help getting papers for a young refugee named Key, so Theo goes to meet his government official cousin Nigel, played by Danny Houston, at the Ark of the Arts. Mm-hmm. Westy, you're taking it from here?
I'll take it from here because Theo gets kidnapped and it doesn't feel like it's abnormal.
Yeah.
It kind of feels normal.
Happens every day.
This happens all the
People
time.
go,
That
well,
must be
another
that.
one.
It's
Yeah.
like how you get the bus now. It's like, is he going somewhere else? Is that how you travel these days? It feels like it's completely part of the world. You're so threatened by the world anyway that this just seems more part of it than something that's outside of it. So then we're introduced to this underground terrorist organisation and we see none of the faces except when we're panning around to see that Julian's there, which is an incredible performance from Julianne Moore. It's so understated. And that room's just incredible. The way that's lit, just with that tungsten, just that horrible
it's great.
glow coming in, and your eyes are just fixed on it. But it's everything that's written behind him, and I think we'll go into a little bit of depth of that in a minute. But I think all these newspaper cuttings and everything around the room are just so important. And you really need a close-up on them, like you got a close-up with Jasper's, but you don't necessarily get it to that degree, but they're just there to find them.
Yeah, that box room covered in newspapers. Every headline's got like a different story about the world falling apart.
Yeah.
Well, there's one about the Beckhams for some reason.
Oh, I've missed that one.
Yeah. It's the wedding anniversary or something, it says, yeah.
They're falling out with the sun again.
That'll be a good prediction.
Yeah.
But apart from that, stories of the world falling apart, that is such a great exposition device. It's kind of there if you want it, but if
Yeah.
you don't, fine.
Just leave it, yeah.
Yeah, and Julianne Moore, love her.
Yeah.
Touch
Yes.
your class
Always.
every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Always.
Easily brings like an authority and an intelligence to Julian. I'm not sure what you saw on Theo arguing with her on the bus like a kid.
I know,
but
yeah.
as leader of the Fishers, I totally buy people following her.
Yeah, exactly. Even if she has a misfire, it's not even her fault.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
Clarice Starling, that's not your fault.
Yeah.
You did the best you possibly can with it. How do you do that? Don't worry about it, Julia. Just absolutely everything you do is amazing.
And again, she's there to develop Theo, Julian and their son Dylan dying. That's Theo's backstory basically.
Yeah,
It kind of
yeah.
comes up here for the first time.
And in the source novel, the pregnant character is not a black refugee called Key. She's a white English woman from the ruling class called Julian. And some reports say that Julianne Moore was originally cast as this character. But when the pregnant character was changed to African, Cuarón asked Moore to play Julian as the leader of the Fishers instead.
You can see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big change that, and much better change for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Better without the white saviour narrative that's in the background, I
Yeah,
think.
just adds a level of
definitely.
complexity which it needs, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and with Key, it means it can bring in themes around immigration as well, which are a big part of the film.
Even though Julian, in essence, is an immigrant because she's American.
Yeah.
But still
Yeah,
white
yeah, she
and
is, yeah.
Accessible, acceptable because
Yeah,
she hits
an
ticks all the
acceptable
right
immigrant,
boxes.
exactly,
Yeah, she's middle class white, fine, that's okay.
exactly.
And one of the most time-consuming scenes to create was the scene where Theo is interrogated in the fish's hideout, which was talked about. The room was covered in newspaper and each headline was created. The production crew had to come up with the stories and then write headlines for them, which was then designed and printed as newspaper pages.
Yeah, I
Good
love
job
that.
we weren't sitting around coming up with them. Fucking hell.
Well, yeah, some of the headlines are things like Africa devastated by nuclear fallout, chaos in refugee camps. Loads of them are about immigration and fertility drugs, like famine and war. Seems like a pretty horrific place, to be honest.
Awful place. Yeah, imagine if we were making them headlines up. Movie intentionally changes narrative to fit podcast rhetoric. Hollywood changed forever. Tell them the story of a podcast, one movie at a time.
And then from Julianne Moore, we meet Danny Houston. Always great to see Houston in something. But what a contrast he is to Jasper. I mean, Jasper's had to essentially go into hiding for standing by his beliefs. But at least he's got the love of his life there to hold on to, a comfy home, a good friendly dog. Nigel got all the riches he could hope for, but that place where he lives, it's incredible set design. But it's so sterile and it's cold. And his dogs are so unfriendly, which I think is a very nice subtle touch to differentiate these characters. Good. And the most damning thing of all about Nigel is he saved all this art, but only for himself. He's got no intent to share it with the rest of mankind. And if art isn't meant to be shared with the world, then what's the point of it existing?
Exactly.
So for seeing that on the face of it is mainly about moving the plot along, getting the transit papers. There's so much relevant subtext to it as well. Like when Theo asks him how he can stand everything going on in the world, and Nigel says, I just don't think about it. I mean, it's tempting, isn't it, to take his view, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good advice.
Yeah, it's good advice.
Yeah, so the place where classic art's preserved is called the Ark of the Arts. Like the religious undertones aren't exactly subtle.
No.
I'm just surprised Nigel's not called Noah.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe in there, massive, with a beard.
Huge beard, yeah.
Just two of everything. Two Michelangelo Davids in there.
But the Ark, I like as an idea, the government preserving all this great art while the world kind of burns outside. And Michelangelo's David's missing a leg.
Yeah.
Who did that?
I know, yeah.
Drawing a tash on the Mona Lisa. And Nigel, he's a smug twat, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect for what Cuarón wants, though, I think.
Yeah.
This like rich bureaucrat living in luxury while everyone else suffers.
Yeah.
So the contrast of class and privilege, like classic dystopian themes, that's brought in really nicely in quite a unique way, I think.
Yeah, with everyone around him completely deflated and devoid of life, like his dogs and his child.
Yeah.
And his kids just non-responsive.
Yeah.
He screams at him.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Nobody wants to be around him. He's just screaming at him to take his pill, and that's it. It's like he's a sterile man in a sterile world.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he is, yeah. And just before this, when Theo was being driven to the Ark in the Court of the Crimson King on the soundtrack, absolute banger.
Yeah.
What I love about that is how it starts on the soundtrack. We're listening to it as we're with Theo, but then when Theo gets to the Ark, it's actually being played in the Ark, so kind of diegetic and non-diegetic at the same time.
Yeah, I love it when they do that,
Yeah. Great sequence. I love all the visuals of all the artwork, obviously, and the themes being developed, and the narrative going along really nicely, I think, as well.
And the film and the novel handle Nigel differently. In the book, Theo's cousin is called Zan Laipiat, and he is the Warden of England, an authoritarian ruler who has abolished democracy and keeps control through fascist, oppressive policies.
Yeah, no curating artworks for Zan. He's the right one.
Good lad.
Yeah.
nice fella.
Yeah, love him. In the Ark, as well as the statue of David, we also see Theo walk past Kissing Coppers, a famous stencil image created by the British guerrilla artist Banksy in 2004. Cuarón had been interested in bringing Banksy in to work on some visuals for the film, so he met his manager, and although Banksy said no, he let them use Kissing Coppers.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah, he didn't meet Banksy directly, obviously. But Cuarón said that he met the manager in a coffee shop, and even that was weird, because the manager sat behind Cuarón, just firing questions at the back of his head. Can't see me either.
Yeah.
That's really odd.
I think Banksy's about 10 different people.
Yeah. Do you think that's our Westy theory?
I think it's a collaboration of different artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll never find out.
We'll never find out. We'll never know unless it's the children of men too.
Yeah.
And
That's the big revelation at the end.
Back in the habit.
Yeah.
children of women.
And then when Theo and Nigel are having dinner, we see Picasso's famous 1937 painting Guernica on the wall behind them. And Guernica shows up again at the end of the film. We see it drawn on the wall of the tunnel which Theo and Key used to escape in the rowboat.
Yeah, Picasso's painting was a reaction to General Franco bombing Guernica during the Spanish Civil War.
Yeah.
Right.
So it has relevance. We've already seen a bombing here, and there's a fascist theme of governments mistreating civilians like all the way through, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also a woman cradling a dying son in that as well, which is mirrored in the end when they walk past her 'cause it's physically done in the street.
And there's another Michelangelo reference when Nigel tells Theo he couldn't save La Pieta. This is a statue carved in 1498 that shows Mary holding the body of Jesus after the crucifixion, and it's currently in St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican.
Yeah, stunning sculpture, that. Michelangelo knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Arc of the Arts scenes were filmed in the Turbine Hall of Tate Modern Gallery, but in the film it's been built in Battersea Power Station. You can see there's a floating pig outside the window of the Arc. This is a nod to the Pink Floyd album Animals. The cover of that album is an image of Battersea Power Station with a pig floating above it. That album was inspired by George Orwell's Animal Farm, which is about a revolution against a brutal dictatorship. And as we know, the pigs are the guys in charge. The horrible fat bastards. Yeah.
Napoleon. It's
Napoleon, yeah.
Themes everywhere. And with the film being set in 2027, that would be the 50th anniversary of Animals. So maybe another nod of why it's there as well.
Fair enough, yeah. I mean, it's very, very prevalent in the shot, isn't it?
Oh, you can't miss it, yeah.
You cannot miss it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after this, Theo's on the mission. He's got the papers. They've picked up Key. And you think this is actually quite a nice car journey going on here. It's quite relaxed.
It's lovely,
Not
isn't
a
it?
lovely little trip out into the country. Who doesn't love
Theo's
that?
laughing. He's having a good time.
Yeah, everyone's having a good time until... I mean, I just love how unexpected and out of nowhere this is. I mean, this is Julianne Moore. I mean, aside from Michael Caine, arguably the biggest name in the film. So surely she's not going to be killed off early. And what she's done is she's brought a little likeness to the film. Theo's more relaxed around her. You can tell there's still an attraction there between them. It's so playful with that like ping pong ball trick they're doing between them. Maybe this is going to be the central relationship in the film. Nope. And the thing is, there's no like booming soundtrack to signify the danger, just that burning car rolling out of the woods, and then we're just thrown into utter chaos. There's this mob, there's gunmen, there's the policeman who Luke guns down, and the coverage that Cuarón gets while never leaving the interior of the car is astonishing. And I think it's one of the most shocking deaths, all-time shocking deaths for Julian, because for me, it's like when Kevin Spacey gets shot in LA Confidential. You just don't see it coming because he's so on board with that character.
Or DiCaprio on The Departed.
Or that one as well. Yeah.
It's a similar slam in it.
It is. It just hits you like that. And the way the life just fades out of her eyes and she slips away.
Yeah.
Incredibly well done.
Yeah, there's not a wasted moment because the car scene, you think of the ambush, obviously. But narratively, it's really important as well because this is the point where we meet Key and Miriam. Pam Ferris with dreadlocks. Outrageous.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Milli Vanilli.
The Darling Buds of me, man.
But the ambush, one of the great action sequences from this century, I think.
One
shot, or it looks like it anyway.
Yeah.
I've not really seen an action scene where I feel so part of it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the car, like every bump, every swerve, and you can feel the panic in the car as well.
Yeah.
It always gutted when Julian goes.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think she's a better character than Theo, to me.
Yeah.
Misery guts.
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible 4 minutes, 8 seconds this is. It's just, from start to finish, it's just, you're in this one. And like Matt said, I think this is just the perfect visual representation of the punishment of happiness. Because Theo's finally happy and he just gets it ripped away from him. He exposes his heart for half a second and it gets sliced from his chest.
Yeah, there's a couple of signs as well that they're going to get back together as well, isn't there? A couple of little nods.
That's the biggest backstory we've got of everything in the world. Like, we know exactly what happens with him. We know his attitude. We know Key's attitude. What the fuck you looking at? I think that's brilliant. Pam Ferris sat in the middle of them. She's, there's that orange, which we'll get into, that Godfather reference, that little nod. And there's just, every time I watch this, I just think, I know how it's done because I wouldn't be able to sleep unless I just looked this up on YouTube and see how they actually shot it.
Yeah.
But even though I know how it's done, it's still so beautifully played out because they're not playing on that gimmick. It's like, it's like you said, John, about them newspaper headlines. Like, if you want to read them, they're there. If you don't. If you want to just get involved in this ambush, you don't even need to realise that, oh shit, I don't even know where the middle of the car's gone. Where's the roof of the car?
It's
like
crazy.
It just comes around and it's beautifully done and beautifully shot out. And just when the door opens and that hit that bike and it just spins out the way, it's just so visceral and just has this real energy to it. What a heartbreaker.
Well, for people wondering how it was done, we can tell them, can't we, Matt?
We certainly can.
Yep, let's do that.
So the car ambush was always part of the script and lasted 12 pages, but it wasn't always planned the way it turned out. Cuarón had just finished working on Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and his first thought was to use CGI to create it. Director of photography Emmanuel Lubezki disagreed though and said they should do it all with practical effects.
Yeah, Lubezki, Chivo, apparently said that he'd leave the production if Cuarón used CGI for it. Wow. It was at total odds with what they planned for the rest of the film.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going!
Yeah. So they used practical wherever possible. When Julianne Moore was covered in squibs. That's not CGI either.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. The timing for that is just ludicrous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you get
It's
like
be on the money, yeah.
it's like a second where you see him point and you just go because she can't move and you know she's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her final words are cover key. That's the last thing she's concerned about.
True, yeah.
Amazing.
So Chivo said they should create a custom camera rig for the car instead. They got in touch with Gary Tealtgus, a cinematographer who owned Doggy Cam Systems, and asked if he could build what they needed.
Yeah, he said they'd got a call on a Thursday saying they needed the proof of concept by Saturday. So we had like 36 hours.
Right.
But he did it.
Fair enough.
I mean, if he builds them anyway.
So Doggy Cam built a custom overhead camera rig for the ambush. They cut the roof off the Fiat, then suspended an H-shaped track above the car. The camera could slide front to back and side to side over the actors, then drop down into the cabin, all controlled remotely by the camera operator Frank Buono.
Yeah, it's some piece of work. I think it's actually so good that at first you don't realise how good it is.
Nah, you've got no idea.
Like, it's dropping in and out the car and moving round over the roof. It's actually insane when you really pay attention to what the camera's doing.
Yeah.
It rotates 360 degrees inside the car at one point.
And there's literally no distortion on the wide angle lens either, so it doesn't feel like you're watching a fisheye or anything. It just feels like your field of view.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
And the Fiat car itself was modified too. There was a fake roof, which is where the two stunt drivers were hidden. One did the forwards driving, the other did backwards. The actors' seats were on hinges that could lower them out of frame, and Cuarón, Chivo, Buono and a focus puller rode in a translucent cabin mounted on top of the car.
Wow.
Yeah, Frank Bruno said, we look like the Beverly Hillbillies rolling down the street.
Amazing. Like Luke and Han and the Falcon when they're shooting the TIE fighters. It's like, I got it, great kid, don't get cocky.
Imagine seeing that drive down the motorway, just after work.
There they are, yeah. Wacky racing.
It won't be wacky racing.
Get them, Bully Brothers. A bit like the opening sequence, the car ambush seems like one continuous shot, but it wasn't. The scene was filmed in 6 sections at 4 different locations in Bourne Woods over 1 week and needed 5 digital transitions between the sections by double negative, and they're the guys who did the one at the start as well. So the shot was very fragile. If a squib mistimed, or if the flaming car rolled wrong, or an actor missed a cue, or anything else, they had to reset the whole thing and go again. That's why they had to stitch shots together, because it was just really, really complicated to hold all this thing down. It was so highly choreographed, it was impossible to nail it all in one take.
Yeah, and the moment the bike crashes into the car, that's CGI as well. I think it's really good, though.
That's really great, good. Yeah. You can kind of tell they're using that as a bit of a breath of fresh air. Like,
yeah, that's how it feels, yeah.
Like
that's
digitally, yeah.
And that and the 5 transitions are all seamless. The only bit that looks CGI to me is when Theo and Julian are splitting that ping pong ball at each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does seem, yeah.
And in Julian's burial scene, we see Miriam putting a Virgin of Guadalupe model on top of Julian's body. This is the patron saint of Mexico, birthplace of Alfonso Cuarón. And the chant Miriam does over Julian's body, shanty, 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 that's from The Wasteland, a T.S. Eliot poem where World War I has left the world infertile.
Some highbrow references in this film.
Very much.
But there's some great characterization in that burial scene as well, because Miriam handles all the spiritual side of things, so we get that about her, whereas Theo just gets the booze out.
Yeah.
Jasper mentions it earlier, but this is the first time we really see like a full-blown alcoholic, I think.
Right, yeah.
And that is the beginning of Children of Men. We've met Theo, we've met Jasper, we've met Kay, we've met Julian and lost her, and seen an incredible action sequence. We should discuss the guy pulling all the fingers, the strings.
Nice.
Let's do that.
The director.
The director of Children of Men was Alfonso Cuarón. This was his 6th feature film, and from his start in Mexican cinema, he'd already made notable Mexican and Hollywood films like Great Expectations, Y Tu Mama Tambien, and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cuarón's first foray into science fiction came with Children of Men, though, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
How was his work here as director?
I think he brings a tremendous tactility to this, and he makes it a film which really feels lived in. Like, it's the future, but it's not futuristic, really. And for what he wants to address in this film, that's pivotal, because it means you can't distance yourself from anything. You can't dismiss and go, I'll be long gone before we end up like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we're going to end up like that next week if we're not careful. And we don't do
like 2001, when you watch it, you're like, no, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't give you that distance. You know, there's holograms in here, but they're not 100 foot high. They're on the sides of buses. They blink and you miss them. He's created a future where people still drink cups of takeaway coffee, they still listen to physical copies of music, they still read newspapers, and this tactility brings you into this film, whatever the scene is. You're thrown into battle scenes, which are like Saving Private Ryan, but they're on your front street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he can pull back and give you really emotional scenes of the kind of growing like tenderness and emotion between Theo and Key as he realises just what she is and what she represents. So in a way, this is just an example of a perfect director, because he's a technical master, but not at the expense of emotion or storytelling.
Yeah, this is Cuarón's first science fiction film, like we said, but you wouldn't know it. No. Because his understanding of the genre is there from like the first second of the film and doesn't really stop. I mentioned the world building, and it is exceptional. The way that he uses the background to feed us information kind of blows me away, the ads and the propaganda. But there's more than that. There's moments where the camera's tracking characters, and then it abandons them to focus on what's happening around them. That's one of the best ways of dropping in exposition I think I've seen. We get that at Bexhill a lot later on, but there's a great moment near the start where we leave Theo walking down the street to focus on the burned out estate in the background. Not being told about the state of the world, we're seeing it constantly. And what makes Cuarón special here for me is a couple of things. First is restraint. There's no massive science fiction spectacle, no flying cars, no laser guns, not many holograms. That would have been my version, obviously. The Britain here is familiar. It looks tired and it looks run down, but it's so familiar, it makes it easy to believe it. And then the way that he shoots it, this idea that Cuarón's had of using lots of long takes, especially at the big moments. We mentioned the opening and the car ambush, and there's more to come. But that technique is so immersive. It's ridiculous. Lots of handheld cameras to give like a documentary feel. It puts you right there. I feel like I'm in 2027 London. I think that's so hard to pull off, but Cuarón makes it look kind of easy. So technically it's there, thematically it's there, emotionally it's there. It's engaging and it's challenging, like all the best science fiction usually is. I think this is a great director, kind of at his best.
I mean, I totally agree with what you're both saying, to be perfectly honest. It's an incredible piece of work from a guy who I think was set out not necessarily trying to make an incredible piece of work, just a credible piece of work. I think he was just, after the Harry Potter film, he wanted to come into something with just a little bit more of an adult theme and a little bit more depth, and I think he's completely lost patience here. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. I think he's lost patience with spelling everything out for people.
Yeah.
he's and that's really good, because this makes him kind of fast forward. Like, you ask him a question, no. Like, he's sick of press conferences. He's sick of people asking him what's going on. He's just like, no, fuck you. I'm making a world. Find what you want from it, and I can give you that. And like we've said over and over again, this is not Blade Runner. This is not the slick, even though Blade Runner's not necessarily slick. It does have that grimy feel to it. It's that sickly, dirty feel to it, but it's still got this safety. This is the anti-Blade Runner, and I think that's what he's set out to make, and that definitely is what we've got here. We've got the billboards are more important than picking the shit off the street.
Yeah.
Digital adverts are more important than people themselves. Kill yourself. Here you go. Here's a kit to help you kill yourself, and give us your kidneys, by the way. And, sex means nothing, life means nothing. Nothing means anything, actually. Just kill yourself. And that's the world that we're in now. But he somehow makes it a world where you kind of want to look around a little bit. You don't want to run away from it because you feel stuck in it, but at the same time you want to try and fix it. And I think that's all down to his viewpoint, and all down to, even if he didn't have a script, I think just the visuals themselves without a narrative story through the middle of it is important enough.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So after P.D. James's source novel The Children of Men was published, it was optioned by Beacon Pictures in 1997 when its president, Mark Abraham, saw potential for a film. Scripts were produced, but nothing else happened. And when Abraham left Beacon to form Strike Productions, part of the deal was that he took Children of Men with him.
Yeah, he said that he knew he needed a director with a singular vision to be able to adapt it properly.
Yeah.
Which is probably why the script sat on the shelf for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't for Cuarón, it'd still be there.
Yeah. And then in 2001, Abraham saw Y Tu Mama Tambien, which was directed by Alfonso Cuarón. He thought part of its visuals and tone would work for Children of Men, so sent the script they had at the time to Cuarón.
Yeah, apparently he was getting a lot of offers at the time, Cuarón. So what he would do was get his agent to read the script and then summarise them for him. So it was a summary of Children of Men that got his attention. And he said, reading Hollywood screenplays is really sad.
Excellent. I want to know what this interpretation was.
Yeah, I'd love to see this summed up.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Yeah.
The studio then brought in Timothy J. Sexton, who worked on Boycott, which was a Martin Luther King TV movie, to help Cuarón work on the script. But Cuarón said they couldn't come up with any ideas that excited him, and he left the project to direct Prisoner of Azkaban instead.
Yeah, so Cuarón didn't know Sexton, but the studio thought he'd be good at bringing out the political sides of the script after he did Boycott. But Cuarón just wasn't having it. And they must have thought it was dead at that point. He's off working with Warner's on this huge IP.
And then came September 11th, 2001, because Cuarón was at the Toronto Film Festival where he was screening Y Tu Mama Tambien when the Twin Towers attacks happened. He was therefore stranded in Canada and started to think about Children of Men again. He called the studio up and said he'd do Children of Men after Harry Potter, and they agreed. Cuarón was actually offered the next Harry Potter as well, but said no to make Children of Men.
So he was he's by himself and miserable as fuck, and then said, "I think I'll do Children."
Yeah,
I'm in the right frame of mind now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Tim Sexton said that Cuarón suddenly called him back up out of the blue and said that he now had a vision for the film, which was the future isn't someplace ahead of us. We're living in the future right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and that's it. That's kind of the spark, and everything else seems like falling into place from that idea, I think.
Definitely, yeah.
Cuarón said he turned down offers to direct the next Harry Potter film, choosing to do Children of Men instead, as we've talked about. It was finally greenlit in 2005 by the distributors Universal. The chair at Universal, Stacey Snider, told him, "I don't understand this film. I have no idea what you want to do, but go ahead and do it anyway." And she approved a $76 million budget.
I think that just shows how highly thought of Cuarón was at the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I need a Stacey Snider in my life.
Don't know what you do.
I don't know what you want to do with it, Westy. I don't know why you're so miserable, but he has $76 million to go next time. Fucking thank you, Stacey. I'll give you a ring later.
What's quite interesting, though, is that Cuarón said that filming Harry Potter in the UK was a massive help because it helped him get into the psyche of British culture,
Right.
which
Yeah.
I think you can see in Children of Men.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
You see some shots from Harry Potter and Children of Men.
Yeah.
It's got a very similar tone.
Yeah.
The production designers were Jim Clay and Jeffrey Kirkland, and they said Cuarón told them he didn't want a high-tech future. He wanted the world to be very grounded. He said they should create the anti-Blade Runner. So Cuarón gave them a file full of visual references, including images of conflicts during the Iraq War, abuse in Guantanamo Bay and Abu Ghraib prison in Baghdad, the aftermath of the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, the Balkans conflict, and the Troubles in Northern Ireland.
Fucking hell, what a sticker book that is.
I know, yeah.
Got any shinies?
Here's your references.
Got Guantanamo Bay.
Need.
Swaps.
But I think you can see all that in ways. And that's why it hits so hard, surely, they're pulling from real life horrors.
Yeah.
Even the cars are detailed. We talked about the fear during the ambush. But Jasper's car, he drives a Citroen with big plastic bonnet slapped on the front.
Yeah.
The cars are all knackered.
And Cuarón decided to shoot the early scenes in East London as he thought it was a place without glamour. He told the set designers to make it more Mexican to remove some of the capital city prestige.
The costume designer was Zani Tamim after Cuarón had worked with her on Prisoner of Azkaban. She also said he briefed her by saying it should be anti-Blade Runner. She said she interpreted this as nothing should be like a costume at all. It should look like clothes. She had a costume team of 40 people ultimately.
Hates Blade Runner, doesn't he? Cuarón.
He just wants it to be anti-Blade Runner.
Yeah. That said, though, Theo's trench coat is definitely reminiscent of Deckard's to me.
It is,
does,
massively.
Yeah.
Anti-Blade Runner, but the Mac's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No Oscars for the film for Best Picture or Director. Winners that year, do you remember what it was?
Was it The Departed?
It was The Departed, and its director, Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
But in creating a grounded, relatable world and some of the most acclaimed 21st century science fiction images, some top direction from Alfonso Cuarón for us.
Superb work. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, great.
The cast.
The Children of Men director was a relatively new Hollywood name, and the same can be said for much of the lead cast. We're going to talk about Clay Hope Ashity as Key and Chiwetel Ejiofor as Luke, but there's really only one place to start on this one, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
So Clive Owen plays Thelonious Theo Farron, a burned-out bureaucrat who's lost his son. We follow Theo as he's dragged into escorting a miracle woman to safety, finds his humanity in the process, and sacrifices himself so Key can reach the human project. Mm-hmm. Not your classic action hero, maybe, Westy. He's not Arnold, is he?
Absolutely not. I mean, he's the opposite.
How is Clive Owen as Theo?
I think Clive Owen is fantastic in this film. I do think it's kind of the best I've seen him, and I think of this in Sin City when I think of Clive Owen, and for good reason, because I think he's totally selfless in this character. I think it could be really, really confusing in the hands of another actor who just plays this angry and straight all the time. But I think he's just on this knife edge. From the moment you meet him, he's just so volatile. You don't know where he's going. He's completely given up hope, but you can see that he's got this drive. He has this motor of him, inside of him that just needs to be kickstarted somehow. You can kind of see that from the character, and that his whole presence change once Julian gets him involved with the fish, and once he goes to visit, he goes to the power station, and his whole body language changes, his whole posture kind of changes. He's got this. He's not driven by kind of money. He has this belief of something that he doesn't quite know what to believe in yet. And I think you totally get that from Clive Owen's character. You don't remember half of the physical things about him. Like, I had to be reminded again that for half the film he hasn't got shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, when Julian dies, that was spoke about, that performance from him is easily missable, because you're just looking at Julianne Moore fading away. Watch him. Yeah. Watch his reaction to that. It is absolute grief. It's absolute... he doesn't believe what's happening. He feels like he's completely helpless. You feel that character's completely helpless. And I think it's to Clive Owen's absolute credit that he didn't turn this into like a suave, kind of misogynistic wanker who's just like a bit, I don't care and you're going to have to convince me. He's totally flawed as a man, as a human being. He's got nothing left. He's got no drive. He's not, you don't really, on his side, you don't really support him. He's doing things that are just kind of negative as a human being. He's not a very nice guy, really, and you've got to earn his trust, and he does that. You kind of earn it all the way through, and when he starts to believe, you start to believe. And then when the character buys it at the end, you're genuinely sorry that he's gone, because he is a genuinely nice guy who's been shut down by a genuinely disgusting world. Yeah. And that's who he is.
Yeah, this is a film with stuff to say, like we've been talking about. And I think what makes Theo such a great lead is how he kind of personifies some of those messages. I think he's really well written. What I think Cuarón is showing us, probably as a cautionary tale, is that this has become a world without meaning. As humans, I think we need purpose. I know I do. If I feel like my life's aimless or without point, then I start getting depressed. I think that's why rich people work when they don't have to, or some do anyway.
Yeah.
So here, with the infertility, society's lost its sense of purpose, and the world's like gone to hell as a result. And that's the basis of Theo's arc, because at the start, everyone's transfixed by that news broadcast except for Theo. Couldn't give a monkeys about Diego. Calls him a wanker. But by the time Key gives birth, Theo has changed. He's realised the life of Key's baby, and therefore the human race, is worth saving. It's even worth dying for. So basically, he's got a purpose. And I think he's the main theme of the film, the importance of hope and purpose. As a character, Theo is the perfect example of the world and the society at the start of the film. So if he's redeemable, maybe we are as well.
Yeah.
I think it's great character writing. And Clive Owen, not your typical action star, but I like him, leads it really well. And apart from the scene where Jasper euthanizes Janice, Theo was in every scene in the film.
Yeah, I mean, I said at the top, there's always been something about the film that puts me off it a bit. And I don't want to blame Owen totally, but it kind of is his fault a little bit. Just,
yeah, we'll go.
I thought it was going to be Pam Ferris. He will go.
No, it's just, I just can't think of a single film where I've gone, Clive Owen's in this. Great, that sealed the deal. I'm in there for that. So I'm just a bit conflicted about him. Like, is Owen playing a perfectly unremarkable man in very remarkable circumstances, or is he just a little bit kind of bland compared to everyone else?
Is he just an unremarkable actor?
Yeah, I mean, I just think 2006, you could have Daniel Craig in here, you could have maybe Jude Law. So I'm certainly not saying he's actively bad. I mean, I'd agree. I think this is his best performance. And there is probably, a lack of ego here. I think he does let everyone else outshine him. Julianne Moore, Michael Caine, I think he lets him kind of grab the limelight, but, that's maybe the point. I think he's fine, and he's very much the everyman, which is exactly what Theo is. It's just hard to get really excited about him as an actor, I think.
Yeah, but think about the rest of the cast, though. Everyone else who's in there.
Yeah.
It's all on the same level, apart from Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
So Daniel Craig in there would have just outshone everybody. You wouldn't have trusted the fishes to do anything with Daniel Craig.
Right,
He's getting out of there.
Yeah.
But this, it's on it's on a level. It makes sense.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's just, just in general, Clive Owen is a bit, white bread.
I know where you're coming from. Like you wouldn't cast him, would you?
No.
But I mean, he was in the running for a long time for Bond, wasn't he?
That's right. Yeah,
He
he
was
seemed to be.
for ages, yeah.
Ages, and he just kept saying no, which is fair
Yeah.
enough. But yeah, with the development of the film taking place over quite a few years, like we talked about, there were various Hollywood actors considered to play Theo at various points. Matt Damon, Russell Crowe, and George Clooney were all reportedly considered.
Prefer any of those, Matt?
Russell Crowe at that time, yeah.
At that time,
yeah.
Damon could have been great, I think.
Yeah, he could have been great.
Yeah, is that around the Bourne films, isn't it? 2006.
Round then, round then.
Yeah.
Clooney just charming the pants of everyone.
Yeah,
Going
Clooney
out
wouldn't have
himself.
worked. I love Clooney, but he wouldn't have
I
worked.
don't know. If you imagine Clooney at the start, like in that street film that with the whiskey and the explosion happening,
Yeah.
I kind of see him doing that.
Yeah.
Like Solaris Clooney, like the start of
Oh,
Solaris.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, actually, yeah.
Depressed
Miserable-
Clooney. Yeah.
Miserable Clooney. Yeah.
Your favourite Clooney, Westy, isn't
My
it?
favourite of any of the Clooney's.
So when Cuarón signed on to direct, he knew he wanted an everyman type of actor to play Theo. Clive Owen had played some big lead roles recently, like King Arthur in Sin City, so Cuarón had the script sent to him. Owen read it and didn't think he was a good fit for it, so he was hesitant, but he was a huge fan of Cuarón though, and that convinced him to take the part.
He was a big name at the time, Clive Owen, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. At the time, he was apparently also wanted by Edward Zwick as the lead in Blood Diamond, and he turned that down to do Children of Men.
All right, wow. Okay.
DiCaprio was one of DiCaprio's worst performances. Nobody talks about that, but it's not great. Like,
Yeah, well, Zwick cast him on the back of it.
right, okay.
Yeah.
He's accenting that.
Yeah, it's pretty poor for his standards, yeah.
I like to get kissed before I get fucked.
Well, before we move on from that, and Clive Owen, we have our first ATRM Patreon question. So one of the benefits of signing up as an ATRM Patreon is I will answer your questions on the show, and we have one now on Clive Owen as Theo.
Okay.
Yep.
So Derek Hourigan's here,
Hello, Derek.
Hello, Derek.
and Derek's asked, is Clive Owen's character the least actiony action hero ever? Spends a lot of time scrambling and hiding. Is there any other character that is so out of their depth but as resourceful as Clive Owen? What do you think, Matt?
One I'll go for, and to be fair, it's done very deliberately, but I'll go Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah,
Of
very
course.
nice.
Because the joke of that film is he thinks he's the hero and he's not. He gives it the posture and he gives it all the big talk, but he's an idiot who just blunders his way through the whole thing. Everyone else is sorting shit out around him. His sidekick does more than him. I mean, the biggest laugh in that film is when he turns up for the big final battle, shoots his gun in the air because he's really excited, and then gets knocked out by the plaster falling from the ceiling and misses the rest of it entirely. So yeah, I'll definitely go Jack Burton.
What I like here is that first, Theo seems to be a bit of a textbook case of like a reluctant hero, alcoholic, disinterested, no purpose, he just needs a beard. I mean, we've seen that kind of stuff before, but it's not done in a textbook way because he doesn't become your bombastic gung-ho action star.
Yeah.
He's not Neo. Machine guns under the Mac. I mean, whenever you even see a Theo pick up a gun, never mind use one. So he is really understated as an action lead, like Derek says, which I like a lot. Another classic is Cary Grant as Roger Thornhill in North by Northwest.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
But I'd agree Theo is one of the least action-style action heroes out there, especially at that time, I think.
Yeah.
There was a few before, for me, that kind of fit that mold. I think there was this moment in cinema where it was kind of like the anti-hero. It all started with Willis in Die Hard. And it was like, well, he's supposed to be the main guy.
The
And
everyman,
then we had Mel Gibson doing it as Rick Jarman in Bird on a Wire, one of my very favourites. If you haven't seen that, very similar kind of fish out of water performance, which is great. One that sprang to mind was Jeff Goldblum as David Levinson in Independence Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where it's
Great
like,
show.
you're supposed to be an action star, and he doesn't, he's smoking the cigar at the
Yeah.
end, and he comes around, but really he's just a nerd thrown into the middle of it.
Yeah.
And the ultimate one for me is Richard Kimball in The Fugitive.
Of course.
Harrison Ford.
Definitely.
Which comes from nowhere. It's like, that's just incredible. And one that totally sprung to mind that my son reminded us of was Johnny Five in Short Circuit, because he's ultimately just a pacifist robot.
Yeah.
And he's really got to start to sort shit out, and he gets it done because he is alive. But them all for me kind of tick that box.
All good ones. Well, for his performance as Theo, Clive Owen wasn't nominated by any of the major awards bodies. Not surprising, maybe, but it seems we kind of agree. An excellent character, played quite well by Clive Owen for Matt.
Quite well, yes. Played quite well for me, yes.
A really excellent character, very normally portrayed by a very normal middle-of-the-road actor who plays a very normal middle-of-the-road character very normally well.
The second cast member we're discussing is the female lead in Clay Hope Ashity as Key, the first pregnant woman in 18 years and an African refugee, where with Key, as she's smuggled through England by the fishers, gives birth in a war zone and in the end makes it to the Human Project with her newborn daughter.
Yeah.
She's well named, Westy. Key is the key.
She is the key. I think she's fantastic. I think she's absolutely fantastic because she plays it in such a subtle way. Her performance and her character is so understated.
Yeah.
That it could be like, I feel really sorry for her. Oh, she's had a bad life. Oh, she's been dragged through this.
Yeah.
And she's just like, this is what life's like. This is it. And I couldn't believe it. I was going to kill myself. And then I felt the baby kick. That's literally where she is as a character. And now she has this lease of life, this hope. And she's clinging on to these different beliefs and she's learning how to trust people. She's learning how to navigate relationships because you can tell that people don't really have relationships anymore.
Yeah.
Like they don't have loving relationships because there's no reason to. You just get on with it. You just exist and then you die. And I think the really great thing is we don't really know how old she is.
Yeah.
And you never find that out, which I think is quite important because she looks young enough to kind of be early 20s, I think.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Easily.
So, and if we're talking about Diego being 18... and she's just early 20s, then at what age did people stop giving a shit?
Yeah.
And there's like, Patrick's cousin dies and he's 19. So it's like, and Diego's 18. So at what point did people kind of go, well, this was the last, and they're just completely given up on the last generation? Because key to me in her performance is just that everyone's given up on her. And now she's got the next generation, the older generation, the parent generation, looking after her. But I think she's just a wonderful, wonderful character actor and just absolutely nails this part of the role because she just becomes part of the film. There's no standout or anything else. She is just absolutely part of the tapestry of the whole thing. I think it's an incredible performance.
I agree. I like her a lot, the character and the actress. I think what's clever about the character is how much weight she carries in the narrative. She's literally the future of humanity. She's the most important character, but the story is told through the eyes of Theo, which works well. I like the way she taps into one of the main themes as well of immigration. The saviour of the world is literally a refugee. The point surely being that immigration isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of normal. It's kind of the key to the evolution of humanity, always has been. So really good writing. And I think Clay Hope Ashity is just excellent. She'd been in Shooting Dogs before this, about the Rwandan genocide. But this was a step up in terms of scale. And she seems to rise to it effortlessly. I mean, she's acting with Julianne Moore and Michael Caine, like acting heavyweights. And she doesn't feel out of her depth. She plays it as a young woman who's pregnant and scared, but she has strength. I mean, she's not shy, is she?
No. The real resilience, hasn't she? Yeah.
Massively, yeah. And I think Ashity gives her a load of dignity as well.
Yes.
Great piece of casting and a really impressive performance, especially for someone so inexperienced. I like her a lot.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what I really love about this performance is she stops Key from falling into the potential pitfall where she just becomes a metaphor. She could stop being a character and just becomes this on-the-nose, saintly representation of the saviour of mankind. But she isn't, and I think Ashity finds a lot of humanity in the performance. I think she's got very kind of soulful eyes, and I think she does a really great job, as we've been saying, of just reminding it she's still just a girl, really. We don't know how old she is, because that scene where you see her sitting on those swings, that makes sense. You go, she should still be playing on swings, not going through this horrendous circumstance. You know, I don't think it's a coincidence that the person who might save mankind is a young black refugee. I think it's very pointed character writing, and that's great. But like I say, she just avoids being saintly. It's really funny. Like, the first thing she says to Theo, "The fuck are you looking at?" Like, all right. This is her, is it? Fine, great. Yeah. Brilliant performance, though.
The character of Key was created for the film. In P.D. James' novel, the pregnant woman was Julian, who's played in the film by Julianne Moore, like we said. Cuarón wanted the pregnant girl to be a black immigrant, so Key was conceived in an early version of the script, which I think is wonderful.
I like that as well. Key being African taps into like the single origin theory, where scientists think that human life originated in Africa about 300,000 years ago, then moved across the globe. So Cuarón's putting the future of humanity kind of back where it all began.
Yeah,
that's a
brilliant.
Great little idea.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. It's wonderful. Imagine this character in anyone else's hands, though. It would just be like saving the baby and like sacrificing herself and just being like, then like throwing the baby to Theo. Look after Dylan. Getting shot. But you see with this character, it's never going to happen, is it? So grounded. Even if that did happen, you'd be like, what the fuck? That makes no sense. Like you could say they're just like the need to be together to create this kind of harmony. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. She's just like,
no, she's really grounded. You could bump into her on the street, it feels like.
Totally. Exactly. Yeah.
And at the time the casting call went out for Key, Claire Hope Asherty was 18 years old and going to Saturday drama classes in London. The class instructor heard about the audition and thought a star pupil would be a good fit, so he arranged an audition for Asherty.
Yeah, it was only her third ever audition.
Wow.
I think,
yeah, the others had been for adverts, I think, and then suddenly she's in front of Hollywood and Alfonso Cuarón. Yeah. Quite the jump.
Yeah.
And that class instructor then became her agent as well. Like, get me in there.
Yeah, of course.
She didn't know who Cuarón was. She just walked up the audition. He's like, hello, sir. Who the fuck you looking at? get that in the script, will you?
And Asherty said her agent received a call saying she had the job and they'd get a confirmation of the start date later that week. The next morning, Asherty got a call at 8 a.m. from nowhere saying, there's a car waiting outside for you for your camera test. So she did that, and then the day after that started filming.
Sounds like The Apprentice. There's a car outside for you at 4 a.m.
Hurry up, fucking hell. 8:30 at least.
Yeah.
There's a McDonald's breakfast in there. Right, that's fine, I'll get it.
Yeah, it must be a whirlwind for that, though. Like, welcome to Hollywood.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. And Asherty was born in Enfield, London, and auditioned and was cast using her normal British accent. But when she was doing that camera test the day before shooting, though, Cuarón told her she had to perform the role with an African accent. Both her parents were Ghanaian, so she said it wasn't too much of a stretch to speak in their accent instead.
There's another nice touch that she brought in from her parents as well. When Key has the baby at the end, she's singing to her in a foreign language. That's a Ghanaian lullaby that Asherty's mother used to sing to her when she was a little girl.
Oh, nice. Love that.
Great.
Baby, do not cry, it's called.
Right.
Lovely. Well, I'm crying now.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But could have had Jasper singing Cry Baby Cry, surely.
Could have done, yeah.
Well, for her performance as Key, Claire Hope Asherty wasn't nominated by any of the major awards bodies. Again, the film didn't get huge recognition at the time.
No, not at all, did it?
But for us, very impressive performance from an inexperienced actress.
Incredibly impressive from her, yeah.
Wonderful, yeah.
The final cast member we're discussing in depth is the villain of sorts. That's Chiwetel Ejiofor as Luke. Julian's second in command in The Fishers. We watch as Luke takes over leadership after Julian's death, reveals his plan to use Key's baby as a political tool, and ultimately dies for it, trying to recapture Key in the Bexhill camp.
Right.
He's up to no good, Matt. How's Chiwetel Ejiofor as Luke?
He brings really interesting neutrality to the role, because on the paper you should hate this guy. You know, responsible for Jasper's death, takes over from Julian, happy to execute Theo in the street and kidnap Key for his own ends. But somehow, you don't quite hate him. He's not an eye-rolling villain ranting and raving. Like, at the end when he's upstairs in that bombed-out room and he's shooting down at the army, you do realise he's fighting against the people who are essentially the enemy in this film. So, is the enemy of my enemy my friend? I mean, probably not, but I just think there's a real interest and complexity to Luke and his motives, and I think that works really well for this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is interesting. I think what's interesting about Luke as a character is that he believes he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
When he says the baby won't bring peace and should be used to start the revolution, he totally believes it. He thinks that's the only way to save humanity. He's got an ideology. It's that classic thing. In his story, Luke's the good guy.
Yeah.
The problem is, he's willing to risk the future of the human race for his beliefs, which is a bit nuts and rings very true to me. I think there are people who'd rather see others die than even admit they were wrong.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And Ejiofor plays it all well. He's charismatic. He's got a bit of an edge, so he's believable. You can see why people follow him in the film. But you can also see that fanaticism like bubbling underneath the surface as well.
Yeah.
I mean, not one of the greatest villains I've ever seen by any stretch. No. I wonder if a bigger name might have made him jump off the screen more, possibly. But a very interesting villain with motives and a very good actor playing him. Yeah. So I think he's good.
Yeah, I think you need a villain of the piece, but not necessarily somebody who's an out-and-out villain who represents everything that he's part of. I think he just represents his own desperation. I think he represents the desperation of the human race to try and find a glimmer of hope somewhere. And it just feels to me like it's somebody who's chasing a lottery ticket when he's playing the character.
Yeah.
It's like, if I just get this, everything's going to be all right. If I could just get to this point. And he does honestly believe that his heart's in the right place. Mm-hmm. He believes he's doing the right thing ultimately, which doesn't make him a villain. It just makes him confused. Yeah. He just has a lack of communication, and he just has this very sheltered view in that everyone's expendable apart from everything that the future needs to build. And I think Chiwetel Ejiofor plays it beautifully. He plays it beautifully because he's just on that line of humanity and then that desperation to be known, to want something. He's probably spent his whole life in the shadows, and he wants to come out of those shadows. That's the character. But again, he's in charge of all these people who are so volatile. I mean, you've got Patrick as a character who's just incredibly volatile. All these people around him are just like jumped up kids who want to kill everybody. And he's then saying that he's this guy in the middle. I honestly think if him and Theo just sat down with Julian and just talked, they could have figured this out. Yeah. But it's just, he's just so hell-bent on the glory, just so hell-bent on finding that lottery ticket that it's just confusing for him.
Yeah. You're right. By the end, when he's just firing bullets, he's kind of like lost the plot completely.
He doesn't even know. Yeah, he's just spinning between, am I desperate or am I calm? I don't know where I'm supposed to be. He's just so confused as a character, which
questions his motives, doesn't it, for all the way through?
Absolutely.
Was he ever bothered? Yeah.
Was it ever going to work? Did he ever? If he got the power, what would have happened? You know. So it's brilliant. It's brilliantly done. So complex.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is, yeah.
And Ejiofor's film debut had been in Steven Spielberg's Amistad in 1997, and he'd started making a name for himself before Children of Men by appearing in Dirty Pretty Things and Kinky Boots, and he was cast by Cuarón after going through a casting process and auditioning.
Yes, we started on stage in Shakespeare, but I think I first saw him in Love Actually. He plays Keira Knightley's husband, doesn't he?
Yes.
That chump sitting on the couch while his supposed best pal tells his wife he loves her on those cards.
And there's videos of it, horrible.
Oh, is he the
husband?
Right. He's the husband, right? I've never seen it.
I've
never seen it. I've just heard a lot about it where people are furious about certain things, but no, I've never seen it. Luke's henchman in The Fishes is Patrick, played by Charlie Hunnam. He was cast after Cuarón saw him in the period war drama Cold Mountain, where he played a sadistic home officer. One of the bad guys, obviously. Hunnam said he'd been out of work for almost 2 years, then 2 offers came at once. Cuarón offered him Patrick, and Zack Snyder offered him a part in 300. He loved Watumama Tambien, so chose Children of Men instead.
The right choice?
Yeah, I think there's so many people in 300 you forget about them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fassbender's in 300, you totally forget about that.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, Bosie, he's called in Cold Mountain, like an albino gunslinger. He's great in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is great, yeah.
What do we think of him here, Matt?
I mean, it's always strange whenever you hear someone with our accent in a film that isn't set in the Northeast. Even more so when it's a film series as this one. And I think what makes it strange, though, is those dreads. Because he just looks like Travolta in Battlefield Earth to me.
Loads of laughs. Evil laughs.
Yeah. So as you might have guessed, Charlie Hunnam is from Newcastle. He usually has to learn other accents for his roles, but in Children of Men he plays Patrick, talking in his natural Geordie accent. And there's a moment towards the end where Patrick executes a man who's helping Theo and Kate to find the boat, and while he does it, Patrick is singing The Bladen Races, which is a Newcastle folk song from the 19th century.
1862, to be exact.
Wow. To be exact,
written by George Ridley. It's still very well known now, isn't it? Football fans still sing it and stuff.
Yeah, you still hear it now.
But in the book, Patrick, or the version of him, is called Gascoigne. Another Geordie folk hero.
Wow.
Okay. Imagine he was called Gascoigne in this.
That would have been ridiculous.
Yeah. It would have been ludicrous.
Yeah. Just crying.
Yeah.
Fishing rod.
Some fried chicken and a fish with it.
But singing that must have been Hunnam's idea.
God,
surely a Mexican director
absolutely.
wasn't like, get the Bladen Races in there.
Yeah.
I don't even think Cuarón knows that was the Bladen Races to this day.
No,
he's probably just thought he's just singing something.
Yeah.
And Hunnam never did the Geordie accent again.
No, I've not heard
that's
it
probably
since.
why he's been so successful, because if this accent had gone any further than Children of Men, which to be honest brings it down a little bit for me.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. When I hear it, it's just like, oh God, it's like cutting glass. It's awful. It's just like, nails on a chalkboard for me. He was 19. It sounds like someone trying to be Geordie as opposed to someone being Geordie. It's such an exaggerated version of the accent. Fuck off. Can't be arsed for that.
No awards for Chiwetel Ejiofor or Charlie Hunnam for Children of Men. It impacted them both, though, and both went on to have good careers in movies and television. Hunnam played the lead in FX's Sons of Anarchy, and Ejiofor was Oscar-nominated 8 years later for 12 Years a Slave.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, he was, yeah. Great in that, yeah.
Yeah, and here is the Fishers. A couple of pretty good bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Confused boys.
Yep.
Very confused.
So that's the cast section. We've talked about some of the supporting roles already in Julianne Moore and Michael Caine, and in those just discussed, Clive Owen, Cléo Bachetier, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Charlie Hunnam. Some pretty engaging performances.
Very much. Very much.
Yeah, very much so. That's the word. Very engaging from everybody.
The middle.
Heading into the middle act of Children of Men, and things are starting to heat up. We're going to be looking at Bexhill and the ends of Jasper and Miriam, but first, we've got a supposed safe house to get to, don't we?
Mm-hmm. We do.
We do.
So the group arrives at the Fishers safe house where it's all happening. First, Kay reveals she's pregnant to Theo, kind of a shock.
Yep.
Then Theo overhears the Fishers arguing they're planning to kill him and keep the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some pretty significant moments then, Matt. How does it play out?
I mean, I think this reveal of the pregnancy, you really, really need this scene between Theo and Key for them to really start bonding over something. And this does that so well. I mean, the symbolism of being in the cow shed, so surrounded by innocent animals. Obviously, the milk's there. Obviously, babies thrive off milk. The boat is called Tomorrow. Not particularly subtle, but it works really well. And I think what works even better is how their relationship just flips, because he's adamant that he's in too much trouble to help her. He doesn't know why Julian recommended him. So when Keith starts to undress and he goes, whoa, wait a minute, don't do that. You know exactly where his head has gone. And he thinks she's going to offer sex in return for help. But obviously he's far too much of a good guy to even contemplate doing that. So that realisation of why she's unrobed, that is so well played, because he's stunned into silence. And he just holds that silence for so long, and then he just goes, Jesus Christ. And the brilliant thing about that is that an expression of disbelief, or considering what he's just saying, is he actually having a religious moment here?
In a barn.
In a barn, exactly.
Surrounded by animals.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what the subtext is. I think it's such a brilliant scene and so well played between the two of them.
Yeah, I think narratively this is probably the most important plot point in the whole film. Kay showing she's carrying a baby, and I think Cuarón knows it. I think it's obvious how much thought's gone into this particular moment. Like Kay's pose when she does the reveal, that's apparently based on The Birth of Venus by Sandro Botticelli, like legendary painting.
Yes.
So still with the art references.
Yeah.
And that shot of Kay holding a bump, the framing and the lighting is stunning. It's all like soft light coming through the doors, very ethereal feeling to me, like heavenly. And you've mentioned it, but there's loads of religious symbology. We're in a stable, like where the big JC was born. And when Theo sees Keith pregnant, he says, Jesus Christ. And then a few minutes later, Key makes a joke that she's a virgin. And then she's like, nah, I'm a shite. That's pretty funny. Had away in shite, Patrick would have said.
Yeah. Had away in shite, man. That's a Jasper's, isn't it? That's even better. That is great. Isn't Theo like representative of God, or the divine one as well, his name translates to?
Yeah, it means of God or something like that.
Something like that. So there's that other context as well, which is really good. Yeah, so from this moment, we find out the Fishers aren't exactly what they seem to be. Patrick turns up with someone who's clearly in a bad way on the back of the bike. She's his cousin, who's 19, who I don't know what the fuck he's doing on that bike. If he's 19 years old, at least give him a second to kind of drive up there, unless he wanted that kind of recognition. I don't know. It's very Mad Max-esque from that whole thing. And we'll find out they're the ones involved. They wanted to kill Theo. They wanted to kill Julian. They just wanted to kind of believe in what they were doing. So Luke was behind the whole thing. Again, this is like blink and you'll miss it stuff. It's not slowly built. It's not slowly delivered to the audience. It's very much like through a window. Oh, it didn't work. Police everywhere. Oh, did it. Right, get out of here. Right, fuck that car. Right, stop pushing that one. And it's really hard pounding and a really good action sequence in that it's just very slowly built. It's when he gets halfway down that hill and the car stops and you're like, will you just fucking work? And he starts pushing it again. And then Patrick catches up. Yeah, can I shoot him? And it's like, no, you can't. No, you can't. Because he's already went against Luke said before.
Yeah,
like,
that's why he doesn't. That's why he asked for permission, isn't it?
And he asked permission because he's already gone too far before. And you get this on later watches, and like obviously, I mean, Luke probably shouts no or whatever. He's hit by the car door again. Allergic to car doors. This guy. I would have loved it if that's how he was killed, because I watched it again. I'm like, is he on that? You know, when they get on the bus, and he starts shooting the bus, and he's like, before Theo goes into the building, I thought it'd be absolutely meant if he just kicks the door open and the door hits him and he just takes his head off or something. But that doesn't happen anyway. It's not, it's not that kind of film, is it? How many times can you get hit with the car door? Just twice. That's enough. Stop enjoying yourself. Get back to it. But again, I mean, this really hammers home how much Theo stepped up. He's now part of this. He could have escaped there by himself. He could have got out of there, no problem. And now we know why Julian wanted him involved. Now we know why Julian trusted him with this information, because it wasn't just for the transfer papers. It was for his conscience and for him himself.
Yeah, but we've just had the most important plot point in the narrative, and I think this might be the most important plot point in terms of Theo's arc, because he overhears Luke and Patrick and what they're planning to do. He's got a decision to make. Theo at the start of the film would just do one. Leave Key and Miriam to it, get the Irish coffee in there. But now, risks his life and he chooses to help them. And yeah, the escape in the car, not quite as spectacular as the last car scene we talked about, freewheeling down a muddy bank, but I really like it.
Yeah.
And but the Fishers meeting scene before this as well, that's really important, because that's when we hear their ideology in full for the first time. And Theo speaks out and says that he disagrees with it. That's the first time he gives an opinion on anything. And from that point, he's not passive anymore. He's like a proper protagonist. Theo's choices from now until the end drive the narrative, which I think's great character development, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Another great moment in this whole sequence as well that I totally forgot about as you were talking about it is when Thomas comes in, the farmer who actually owns the place, and he's handing Theo different clothes.
Oh yeah.
So obviously they're just gonna kill him. And they're gonna wipe him out, and then they're gonna say to Kay, "Oh, we found these clothes. Here they are."
Right.
Just to still gain her trust as well, which I think is another lovely little touch.
Yeah, nice detail.
Yeah.
So that's the Fisher's safe house. Kay is pregnant. Theo decides to become her guardian angel, and they and Miriam are on the run.
Yep.
Things are about to get darker still, though, aren't they?
Of course they are.
From one safe house, Theo, Kay, and Miriam flee to another, Jasper's doobie den in the woods, and then move on to Bexhill refugee camp. It's in these scenes we meet border guard Sade and also see the final scenes of Jasper and Miriam.
Yeah.
Some big moments, Westy. How are we doing?
I mean, we're doing great now that we're back at Jasper's. I mean, you can see it coming a mile away. As soon as they start driving off and the sun starts coming up, you think, they go to Jasper's. Absolutely 100%. Where else are you going to go with, as soon as he says a safe house, it's a place that's actually safe. But the setups here are wonderful. As soon as they arrive, they think he's taking the quietest, which is a setup again for later on. But it's just the fact that Jasper uses it to kill the rats, like the vermin, even though they have a peaceful death. It just shows his character shines through, just wonderful. But again, he's starting to buy into people's ideologies and people's the ways of thinking, and he's starting to be more accepting. Because we've got Miriam outside, obviously practicing whatever she's practicing, if it's religious or if it's martial arts or just whatever it is that she's believing in. And then Kate asks Theo, it's a beautiful line, and it's blink and you'll miss it. She says, "How does she look?" And he says, "Honest." It's absolutely wonderful. It's an absolute heartbreaker when the Fishers finally turn up. The alarms are going off. I mean, that's some alarm. That's really going to trigger you.
It really is.
It's awful. There's people coming in and they're breaking in, which obviously refers to Ian at the start when he was following them, and he's following them in the train, and he knows where he lives, and that's where they're going. You never really question that. You never go, "Oh, that's a bit of a push." You just kind of go, "Of course they're going to know where it is. They know everything." And when Jasper's out of there, again, it's just an absolute heartbreaker. And we've got Theo to such a point where he has to get out the car and then watch it happen. And we see it from his viewpoint. We don't cut close. Again, it's that story that we've heard about Dylan. They keep him in the background, keep everybody in the background, pull my finger, blows his hand off first to fuck you, right? But he's, everybody's dead. He's used the quietest on Janice. That's come up again. He's used it on his dogs. That's come up again.
Yeah.
So we know that they've died peacefully, and he's just trying to keep them away as far as possible. And it's that moment where Miriam just tries to touch Theo. He's like, "Don't you fucking touch me." And he's like, you're like, "Oh God, he's reset again." Or he's even more determined now to get this done because of what's happened and who he's lost. So, incredible moment in the film. Incredible end of a second act into a third one, because you just think, right, we are going for it now. We've got to end this journey one way or the other, and God knows where it's going to go.
Yeah, I think the scenes back at Jasper's are some of the best in the film.
Yeah.
'Cause we've heard bits and pieces through Julian, but here we finally get Theo's full backstory, where you mentioned it, Westy. Jasper explains to Kay about Dylan dying in the flu pandemic, and Theo's just round the corner listening. Yeah. It's a really powerful way of doing it. But it's like, right now I understand why Theo's so miserable.
Yeah.
He's lost his son. He's not getting another one, obviously. And that's why he's lost his purpose. I think he was already a good character before this, and then they develop him even further, which is excellent. And Jasper going is a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
That whole sequence, because firstly, he euthanizes Janice. That's massive on its own, but then you kind of realise why he's doing it.
Yeah.
He knows the fishes are going to kill him, and without him, she'll just starve.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
And Michael Caine is just outstanding. If you want us to care about the death of a character who doesn't have loads of scenes, just get Michael Caine to play him.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
yeah.
Every time, yeah.
And Janice was played by Philippa Urquhart, an experienced British TV actress, best known for World War II drama Tenko. And Janice's backstory is that she was an award-winning photojournalist who was tortured by the authorities for exposing government abuses, which has left her in a catatonic state. But in the book, she's called Hilda and is elderly and senile, and she dies in a state-sanctioned suicide where the military drown a lot of elderly people on a beach.
That's right. So in the book, Quietus isn't a drug. It's a state-run mass killing ritual for people.
Right.
Kind of like Logan's Run for 60-year-olds.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So in the book, Theo tries to save Hilda and fails, and it's that leads him to joining the resistance.
Right.
Right, okay. In the scene where Jasper is describing Dylan's death, we hear choral music in the background. The music is Gustav Mahler's Kindertotenlieder, or Songs on the Death of Children. Wow.
Yeah.
What a title that is. The lyrics are taken from the set of poems written by a German poet called Friedrich Ruckert, and the poems were written after Ruckert lost 2 children to scarlet fever.
God.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pain becomes art, I guess, in the worst possible way, yeah.
1830s, those poems were written. So a specific choice of music. I mean, child-based heartbreaks all over the place in this.
Yeah. Fucking hell, is that Nick Cave, this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after this, well, it doesn't get really any better because what comes next is one of the most disturbing parts of the film for me. They're on the bus into Bexhill. Keys waters are broken, and just when it's making its way into camp, you can see just people already in cages. They're being beaten. But because we're on the bus, we can't stop to look at it. It's just, that's the way it is, and you've got to move on from it. You want to stop and help, but you can't. And it's just these constant glimpses of horror. And then it does stop, and that piece of shit guard gets on, and he starts abusing everyone. Horrible.
Yeah.
And he goes straight for Key. And it's when you get one of the underlying themes of the film, which is the individual having to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Because when Miriam stands up and she starts her religious kind of ranting and raving to distract the guard, so he goes for her instead. I mean, literally dragged out by her hair, and then that black bag over her head, and that's it. That's the last we ever see of her. Again, the bus just keeps on moving. Like, you shudder to think what's going to happen to her. And this whole scene, because it's over so fast, the bus is moving out there like, this is no big deal. This is just, daily routine for these guys.
Yeah, it's just when's the next bus?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's right behind it.
Yeah. It just leaves you feeling so sick to your stomach over what's going to happen to Miriam.
Yeah, I mean, you do see what is going to happen because it is painted, isn't it, across as they go, and you see the people kneeling down, then you see the corpses, and then you kind of get an idea. Horrible.
Awful. Yeah, the theme of immigration's been there all the way through, but then at Bexhill it goes up about 5 notches.
Yeah,
I think it's some pretty prescient writing. I mean, in the 10 years or so after this came out, major world events occurred powered by immigration manifestos. World leaders have been elected on the back of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Cuarón saw it all coming. I'm surprised Farage doesn't turn up with that bus.
Yeah.
But another powerful character moment when Miriam's dragged off the bus. She does sacrifice herself for Key. She knows what's happening, and we don't see her die. No. But the last time we see her covering her face, it is just horrific.
And she's
really
just
powerful.
like holding her arms out towards the bus.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the death of Elias in Platoon.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
horrible. Just that longing for, like, it's just there to get away from. But it's inescapable. Yeah, it's an incredible performance from Pam Ferris all the way through, I think.
Yeah, really powerful, really uncomfortable filmmaking, which is exactly, I think, what Cuarón's going for.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
So Miriam, as we've seen, she is Key's midwife and the person meant to deliver her baby. And she's played by Pam Ferris, and Cuarón cast her after working with on Prisoner of Azkaban, where she played Harry Potter's Aunt Marge.
Sticks out in the cupboard under the stairs. Right. She was also the Trunchbull in Matilda.
That's right.
Great in that.
Yeah.
Darling Buds of May.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in that as well,
TV veteran.
back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's good here. She brings like a bit of a warmth to the film.
She's
she's
that
great.
bit when she gives the whole backstory is just incredible.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, that speech about the sound of children in playgrounds being silenced.
Keeps disappearing. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, really good.
And Bexhill is a seaside town in Sussex, and the sets for the film were constructed across several locations. The bus arrival scenes were filmed at Bruneville Barracks in Aldershot. Royal Connaught Barracks in Hertfordshire was used as the camp interior, market scenes, and the room where Key gives birth. And the climatic battle sequence was filmed at RAF Upper Hayforth in Oxfordshire, a derelict former US Air Force base.
Yeah, they used digital effects to add buildings and people as well. I think it's some really powerful imagery in the refugee camp. Oh, yeah. The metal grating over the windows on the bus, like subtle touch, but just looks horrendous.
Yeah, brilliant.
And Cuarón said that in creating Bexhill, he gave the production team some real-life reference points. He asked them to look at Nazi concentration camps, Japanese-American internment camps, and Syrian refugee environments as inspiration.
Yeah, we hear the Libertine song, Arbeit macht frei, playing in the background as well.
Right.
So Arbeit macht frei means work sets you free, and those words were over the gates of Auschwitz and other Nazi concentration camps. Yeah. So another deliberate choice.
Yeah, and that entrance to Bexhill looks very similar to that.
It does.
Yeah, definitely.
Gates,
And there's also a reference to Abu Ghraib in Iraq, where the US Army and CIA tortured and abused detainees. There's a famous photograph taken at Abu Ghraib of a torture victim in a mask standing on a box with his arms outstretched, and we see something very similar at Bexhill.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, the hooded man, that image became known as. It was all over the press in about 2004, I think.
Yeah.
And there's a prisoner in Bexhill standing in that exact same pose.
Yeah.
So it's obviously intentional.
When the bus goes past, isn't it? It's one of the last things you see, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
They're taken into Bexhill by Sid, the home guard, and there are some interesting details on his outfit. The crest on his beret shows the map of Britain and the whole of Ireland, suggesting that the Republic of Ireland has rejoined the UK.
Yeah, I love all the little details. Yeah. Like earlier in London with all the Homeland Security signage everywhere, and there's billboards saying avoiding fertility tests is a crime, and there's a piece of graffiti that says last one to die, please turn out the lights.
Yeah.
Incredible that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that up here for our recordings.
And another subtle detail in the bus scene is that we see the fishers outside a window pretending to surrender, which shows how they got into the camp. And we can see Patrick, he's wearing a mask, but we can see his hair and jacket.
Yeah, that's how they get in. Similar to that, at the start of the film, we said when Theo was on his way to Jasper's on the train, we see Ian, one of the fishers, on the bus.
Yeah.
Before we move on, we have our second ATR and Patreon question, this time from Nathan Lang.
Hiya, Nathan.
Hello, Nathan.
So Nathan's asked, the deaths of Julianne Moore and Michael Caine hit really hard in Children of Men. What other film deaths have particularly affected you and why? Westy, I reckon you might have a few here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right, great. Let's have them.
Okay. Setsuko in Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah, lovely.
Don't say I didn't
lovely.
warn you. Oh, lovely, that one, yeah. Let's get that on now. And here's a clip from Grave of the Fireflies. John Coffey in The Green Mile.
Yeah.
Bing Bong, Inside Out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fucking R-Tax in The Neverending Story.
Oh, yeah.
Just cheer up, man, you miserable bastard.
The Swamp of Sadness, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because he dies in the Swamp of Sadness. These are kind of, again, one I've had to dig in for, like, when some childhood ones as well have been horrible childhood ones. Auntie in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
God, yeah.
God,
that was awful.
That?
Yeah.
Fuck. Still cannot watch that. Absolutely disgusting. Land Before Time. That was awful. And then one that really stuck with me, I remember my mum and dad watching this, and I was stupid enough to watch it. Brian Piccolo, played by James Caan, and Brian's song.
Right, I'm not seeing that.
Right.
Wow. Heartbreaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's about as far as I'm going to go with it, because I'm just going to start getting upset. Yeah. So that's them all for me. Painful stuff. God, it's amazing when it hits you right, though.
Yeah. Well, Westy, you've took nearly all of mine, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I had R-Tax, I had Grave of the Fireflies, I had Bing Bong. But what I was struck by in doing this was just how many of them are in, like, family films.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned some more there in animations and stuff. The only one I would add that you didn't mention is Mufasa in The Lion King.
Right.
Oh,
Massive.
right, yeah. Heartbreaker, that.
Yeah.
Long live the king. What a bastard.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a great scene, isn't it? That full
Jeremy
stop.
Irons nails that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got two. Really surprised Westy didn't go with this one, but Mellish in Saving Private Ryan.
God, yeah.
Messed me up genuinely for days afterwards.
It was more painful than heartbreaking for me. That is more like
it's awful. Yeah,
it's more actually makes us more angry than it does upset.
Yeah. It's just so drawn out when he's like begging him not to do it. Awful.
Yeah, awful.
And one that I end up thinking about quite a lot, but the homeless guy in Groundhog Day. just because it's the one thing that Phil can't change.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how much he tries to save him, even like giving him all his money, feeding him all day long, that guy will always die at the end of the day. And that just lingers with me because I say it's the one thing Phil cannot change in that day.
Wow,
and it frustrates him so much, and I think that's really quite impactful.
Yeah, when he's giving them mouth to mouth and stuff, it's actually really
It
heartbreaking.
is.
Loads of soup. Yeah.
When the doctor says some people just go, he's like, no, not today.
Yeah, not today. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And on that happy note, that is the middle of Children of Men.
Thanks, Nathan.
Jasper's gone, Miriam's gone, and Theo and Kieran Bexhill. We're set up for the climax, but before we go there, let's get into Alfonso's team, should we?
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
The crew.
Alfonso Cuarón didn't do it all alone. He had quite the crew on Children of Men, and we're talking about some of those talents right now. John Tavener as composer and Emmanuel Lubezki as director of photography will be discussed, but we're going to begin with the screenplay and the writers, aren't we?
Yep.
There are a few credited screenwriters on Children of Men, namely Alfonso Cuarón, Timothy J. Sexton, David Arata, Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby. Cuarón had already written his features Solo con tu pareja and Y tu mamá también. Sexton, this was his first screenplay. Arata had written thrillers Broke Down Palace and Spy Game, and Fergus and Ostby were a writing team who had written thrillers Consequence and First Snow. 5 credited writers then, Matt. The famous 5. How was their writing on Children of Men?
I mean, it doesn't feel like 5 different voices. It all feels very unified. And it's just terrifying how prescient it is. When Theo walks into the building at one point, there's a sign in the background that just says British jobs for British people. You just think, wow, did PD James have a time machine or something? That advert that plays Only Britain Soldiers On. I mean, that just hits home so much as well. And the novel, which I've not read, which I think I really should, it obviously gives them such a firm base to work from, because everything they bring out of it is still so horribly plausible. I mean, blaming everything on immigrants and refugees, are we? I mean, good thing we've gone beyond that. Oh no, look what's making the news today.
Yeah.
And it's what I keep coming back to. This doesn't feel like science fiction. It's that thing about it's taken from tomorrow's headlines, and that's why it hits home so hard. There's not that many films where you can honestly say what it's about continues to grow in relevance, but this one really, really does. The themes it explores.
Absolutely. I mentioned the character writing around Theo, and that is great, but probably the themes that really stand out for me, the way the script explores things like immigration feels massively relevant, maybe even more in later years than when it was made. The idea that migration is just human nature, something we've always done and always will. I mean, political themes can be really divisive, but I think with how accurate this feels, it's not easy to argue against it, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I also think the critique of ideology, or rather the critique of being enslaved by an ideology, that's really interesting. Like Luke and the Fishers are willing to risk everything, including the future of humanity, for what they think. The film's basically saying that ideologies are tools to separate us, or they can be used for that. They can be dangerous. And again, that kind of feels timeless. So, as a cautionary tale, this is pretty scarily accurate, I think. There's even a pandemic in the backstory, a decade and a half before COVID. And there's more ideas. In this world with no hope, people turn to religion. That's there, like we talked about. And the government's handing out suicide drugs like quietus, or drugs to get you high with quietus bliss. I mean, if I lived here, I'd be off my head all the time as well.
Yeah.
But there's some incredible technical filmmaking, as we've been saying, but some really interesting writing as well. And that combination is what science fiction does at its best, I think.
I think it's really interesting, the writing of this, because we don't get any explanation as to why the world is the way it is. It just is that way. And I think that's really brave. And it's one that doesn't leave you thinking, oh, well, if only I knew, then we'd be able to solve it. I don't think this is very politically charged, even though it does seem to be. I don't think this is about oppression. I don't think this is about a film where you can see where the problem is, and it's the government, and we need to take the government down, because I feel like in this film, even if you bring the government down, so what?
Yeah. Won't change
there's still no oppression. It's about humanity and about being human and about the progression and where we're going.
Yeah, Theo kind of says that, doesn't he? Where he says the world was fucked long before this happened or something like that.
Yeah, even if they found a cure, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it's fucked now anyway,
Yeah.
so it really makes no point. And to have that as like the central point of a script where you don't really have a point, the whole point of it is the forward thinking of the narrative, the arc. Where are we going? We've got to just be good to each other, otherwise we'll go nowhere anyway. It doesn't matter about who's governing what. You can only govern what exists. So it's about human nature and the destructiveness of human nature, and I think that's what it's trying to address. And that if we take away that destructive element, all we're doing is hurting ourselves. We're not helping anybody. We're not even helping each other. We're not helping ourselves by not helping each other. And that's the central message in this, which again is really important, and it's wrapped up in this terrifying dystopian world, and like we've said, isn't that far away. So I think it's about time that people realise what they're writing about is literally around the corner.
Yeah, the narrative is pretty straightforward. That's why it's only 95 minutes or something.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. This could easily be a 15-minute short film.
It could, yeah.
So when Beacon Pictures first optioned P.D. James's novel in 1997, they hired Paul Chart to adapt it. He was a British filmmaker making some noise at the time with American Perfect, a road crime thriller, and it was written like a road trip film.
Yeah, Itu Mama Tambien's a road trip film, isn't it? So if this was a road film early on, possibly why Cuarón was approached.
Yeah. Would make
Didn't
sense.
go after Todd Phillips for some reason.
Oh, it's a shame.
Shame, yeah.
Imagine that. There's a baby in the hangover. What more do you need?
Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby were then hired to do a rewrite. They were a writing team, and it was them who laid the groundwork for what the script would become. They said they were struggling with how to adapt it for the big screen, but their breakthrough came when they realised there were similarities to Casablanca.
Yeah, Fergus said they saw Theo as being like Rick Blaine, this scarred hero who was a revolutionary but gave up when he lost too much. I mean, that is kind of there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
makes sense.
Yeah.
No piano sing-alongs, though. Could have had Jesper belting out Imagine or something.
Yeah.
That would have been great. There was space for that. I think they just cut it out.
Yeah, they could have done that just for us,
They
definitely.
could have done that, yeah.
But it was that version of the script that Cuarón read and convinced him to come on board.
So then when Cuarón came in, one of his conditions was that he got to develop the script. The studio hired Timothy Sexton to work with them for rewrites. Sexton hadn't written a feature screenplay before and was actually known as a TV movie writer.
Yeah, so as well as Boycott that were mentioned, he'd co-written Live from Baghdad, which is about the news team covering the Gulf War. That must have been a draw to get him in here, I would think.
Oh yeah, a lot of similarities, yeah.
There were other changes from the earlier script versions. At one point, the quietest mass suicide from the book we mentioned was how Janice died, and Jasper died when he was mauled by guard dogs to help Theo and Kay get to Bexhill.
Yeah, presumably he didn't ask the dogs to pull his finger, but maybe.
That wouldn't work.
Bite my finger.
And we've mentioned some of the religious themes already, and that comes from the novel. P.D. James actually took the title of the book from the Bible, because Psalm 90 says, Lord, thou turnest man to destruction, and sayest, return ye children of men. And Theo's full name is Thelonious, which comes from the Latin for belonging to God. And the name of the fishes comes from the idea that the fish has been a symbol of Christianity for thousands of years.
Yeah, so in the book they're called the 5 fishes, taken from the 5 loaves, 2 fishes miracle in the Bible.
Right.
And at the end of the book, Theo makes a sign of the cross on the baby's forehead. Because P.D. James was a practicing Christian, I think. So Cuarón toned that stuff down, but it is kind of still there.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it's
definitely
there
still
if you
there.
look for it.
Yeah.
Cuarón said he deliberately didn't read P.D. James' novel as he didn't want it to affect his vision. He asked Timothy Sexton to read it so they were aware of what was happening in the book. There were some other changes, like in the book, we were told that the reason for the infidelity is that men have stopped producing healthy sperm. In the book, it's referred to as the ultimate failure.
Yeah, the movie doesn't go into massive detail for the reasons behind it, does it? Which I think works fine.
No,
I
not at
think
all.
it works absolutely fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard Cuarón talk before about how he doesn't like too much exposition and explanation in films, so maybe that's why he just got rid of it all.
Now thinking about it, I think that actually does point to it, because when Luke finds out it's a girl at the end, he kind of gives up.
Right, yeah.
And that he was hoping it would be a boy who could produce healthy sperm.
Yeah,
And he's
maybe,
like,
yeah.
it's a girl. Oh, what's the point?
Yeah.
That's
Again,
a good point,
which bangs into the title of like Children of Men. It's like we're
Yeah.
responsible for the progression of the human race. Maybe we're not, So it's that kind of taps into it. So it's there, but you've really got to look for it.
Yeah.
Oh, you have.
And also in the novel, Julian was the pregnant woman, which we've mentioned, and the father was Luke, actually. Julian and Theo's baby Dylan didn't die in a pandemic. He was killed in a car accident. And Theo was American, not British, and also he wasn't an office worker. He was a Oxford University history professor, and as part of his depression, he would sleep with homeless people.
Wow.
Yeah, as in he sleeps outside with groups of homeless people. He
Oh,
wasn't
right.
He wasn't seducing them.
I was going to say that'd be really weird to get over the impression.
Yeah. You're attractive. Have you got a house? Yeah. Oh,
Why don't you get a job?
get a goddamn job, Al. Come back to mine.
Well, for penning the screenplay to Children of Men, the screenwriters were nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars. They lost out again to The Departed, William Monahan, based on the Hong Kong crime drama Infernal Affairs, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
No Oscar for the writers here, but for us, some pretty extraordinary prescient writing on Children of Men.
Oh, wonderful.
Like I say, it's terrifying.
We're moving on to the music on the film now, and the composer on Children of Men was Sir John Tavener, a British musician known mostly for his religious choral pieces going back to the 1960s. This was Tavener's first and only original film score. An unconventional choice, Matt. How was the music on Children of Men?
I think it's great. I think, as well as the soundtrack, I think the choice of very unusual cover versions is really striking. I don't know if it's a budgetary thing, so they couldn't afford the original, but those covers of Tomorrow Never Knows and Ruby Tuesday, because they're not the Beatles or the Stones, it does give the film the sense of this is our world, but also not. It's slightly
not authentic.
It's not authentic. It's slightly removed from our reality. I think that's so effective. And I think the original score's great. I mean, it's quite sparing, but when it comes in, it feels like it's stabbing you in the heart and it's punching you in the gut. It's really evocative, really powerful. It haunts you once the film's finished. I really, really like it. And any film that ends with Jarvis Cocker singing "Is still running the world," that's fine by me.
Anything with Jarvis is fine by me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cuarón uses music in quite an unusual way, but really cleverly. It's like a combination of original score and pop soundtrack. Like John Tavener's score, I don't think it's really like a traditional film score. It's more like a spiritual kind of hum that sits underneath the film. It's really atmospheric.
Yeah.
You've talked about the religious themes and symbology, and I think that's surely why Cuarón hired Tavener, because that was kind of his thing.
Yeah.
So with Tavener's stuff being quite subtle, it probably is the pop music that's most noticeable. Ruby Tuesday gets played several times, and it's not the Rolling Stones version like you say, Matt. It's the one by Franco Battiato. It's a good version, I like it. But I think Cuarón might be making a point on multiculturalism, because it's a very British and very British sounding song, made more beautiful sounding by being developed by someone from a different country. So like a cultural collaboration almost.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's hard to make it more beautiful sounding than when Jagger's belting out the first one, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah. Just a reimagination and by how important the refugee viewpoint could be. Yeah,
exactly.
It could improve where we are instead of making it derogatory.
Exactly, yeah. And then we've got all these other pop songs all over the place, almost always diegetic. We mentioned King Crimson and the Libertines. We hear Hush by Deep Purple on Jasper's car radio at the start. Always welcome. But that as a choice feels almost like a kind of lullaby for this world with no babies. And then we hear Bring on the Lucy by John Lennon a couple of times, I think. Surely chosen as Caine based Jasper on him. And that's one of Lennon's most political tracks as well, so it's fitting. And how mad is that music that Jasper plays to Theo in the first act? That like barrage of noise.
Yeah.
That's Aphex Twin. Oh My Gear Switch 7 it's called.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, the way music's used, both score and songs, I always think of Cuarón as like a sophisticated and classy filmmaker, and I think that's shown how he uses the music in this as well.
I think it's one that's easy to forget about because, again, it's one of them soundtracks that really doesn't emphasize anything that's happening on the screen.
Yeah.
It's one of them soundtracks that takes you away from what's happening on the screen almost. There's some of especially the original score feels very religious to me.
Yeah.
Very heavenly, very angelic, lots of strings, lots of voices, lots of calmness, lots of hope. But it's just buried beneath all of this shit that you're watching. Like, it's just buried beneath the visuals. There's no rise in the score where it's like, you know, when they're walking down the stairs at the end with the baby there and you expect this score and there's nothing.
Yeah.
That's where you would use it. There's nothing. They don't need it there. It's kind of like Cuarón's just using it to reinforce certain parts of what you think, not what you believe. He's making you think certain things, not feel them.
Yeah.
I think it's just so well done and so well put together. Another part of the piece that's just perfectly used. It just feels like a Jenga tower, but it just feels so solid at the same time. Like it's all been put together and all these pieces are in place. Take one bit out and it kind of tumbles, but they're just so subtly put in place. It's just excellently done. Really, really, I mean, if you listen to this by itself, which I've done, I don't recognise which parts each bit of
No.
music's from.
I don't think I would either. Yeah.
It's kind of, where was this? It's
Yeah,
not like,
yeah.
that's the end credits or whatever. It's like, I don't remember. And there's some bits I was like, maybe that's when Kay reveals herself to be pregnant, but I'm not too sure. It should be, but I don't know if that's too obvious. So it's there, but it's not. It's really well done.
Yeah. I mean, Cuarón doesn't want that. I don't think he doesn't want big themes, does he?
Nah, definitely not. No. He doesn't want anything to make you kind of move away from what you're seeing.
So, as we've been saying, Sir John Tavener was an unconventional choice of composer by Cuarón. He'd never written a score for film before and had made a name for himself by writing spiritually themed choral and orchestral pieces that had broken into the mainstream. His most famous works were The Whale, Song for Athene, and Song of the Angel, which he'd written to mark the 50th anniversary of the United Nations. And Cuarón said he hired Tavener because when he was writing the screenplay, he listened to Song of the Angel on a loop.
Right.
Yeah, Cuarón said that piece gave him like the spiritual footprint, he called it, that he followed for the film.
Nice.
Yeah.
And The Whale, that was released in 1968 on Apple, the Beatles label. And Song for Athene became quite well known because it was played at the funeral for Princess Diana.
Right.
But it is such a strange choice of composer by Cuarón. I mean, a great one. I think it's pretty inspired.
It's fantastic, but it's that choice, isn't it? It's like somebody who's there but not. It's almost like an invisible composer.
Yeah.
Somebody who from like almost forgotten about. And it's there. I mean, that song that Cuarón had on a loop that he was listening to, that's 15 minutes long, that track.
Yeah, massive. Yeah.
So he's constantly just listening to it all day. Just like, and it does. You don't know when it ends and when it starts. If you listen to that on a loop, it's just one continuous feeling for 15 minutes. And if you loop it, it'll last you 24 hours.
Yeah, easily.
Having never scored a film before, Tavener's approach was unique. He scored to the screenplay rather than the finished film. He read the script and told Cuarón he saw themes of motherhood, salvation and hope. Cuarón agreed, and Tavener wrote a 15-minute piece of music inspired by those themes. That became Fragments of a Prayer, his main piece for the Children of Men.
Yeah, that's all like choral sopranos and strings and stuff. That was his thing, what he was known for. But we hear words in that in like Sanskrit, there's English, German, again to reflect that like multiculturalism.
Right.
And Cuarón then took that piece and chopped it down to different bits to use at different places in the film.
Right.
Yeah, I love all that.
Which I cannot tell which bit was used where.
No.
It's beautifully done. Yeah, brilliant.
And the sound design team was headed up by Richard Beggs, who was a Best Sound Oscar winner for Apocalypse Now. And he'd worked with Cuarón on Prisoner of Azkaban, which is how he came to be hired here. And the sound team deliberately broke mixing conventions. They came up with a new panning approach to the sound that was based on the camera movements. So as the camera pans across a landscape, the sound does the same through the speakers.
Oh, amazing. Love that.
Yeah, so the camera is kind of the microphone as well as the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about the visuals, but I think the sound design's a big part of why the tracking shots are so immersive as well. Like the battle at the end, we'll talk about it. The gunfire and the explosions, like, pull you in.
Yeah.
There's a great moment where that happens. Actually, it's just sprung to my mind where Theo goes to meet Julian on that bridge.
Oh yeah.
And he walks past that pub, and there's like the gang. There's like a gang of punks just outside the pub, and they're just playing some music. And when he walks past them, it gets louder, and then just totally disappears.
Yeah, so that's that technique they developed for this. Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah. For his work on Children of Men, John Tavener wasn't nominated for any major awards. Winner at the Oscars that year was Gustavo Santaolalla for Babel, which is incredible.
Right. Oh, yes, okay. Right. Yeah. Another one that's not talked about enough.
Exactly, yeah. But Children of Men still has some pretty great work from John Tavener and the sound design team.
Brilliant.
Wonderful.
It's time for the Children of Men cinematography now, and the director of photography was Emmanuel Lubezki, a.k.a. Chivo. This was Lubezki's 22nd feature, his 5th with Cuarón, and some of his Hollywood highlights were Reality Bites, The Birdcage, Meet Joe Black, Sleepy Hollow, Ali, and Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, which I love.
Yes, obviously. And Cat in the Hat.
Yeah. And he'd shot Cuarón's Great Expectations and Itu Mama Tambien.
Yeah.
The visuals on Westy. How's Chivo's work here?
How long you got?
As long as you want.
As long as I want. I'm going to be here a while. Strap yourself
Famous
in.
last words there. Should have said that.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. Here he goes. Last orders. It's only 6 o'clock. I mean, it's just incredible work. This is just fantastic. I mean, Chivo is Spanish for goat, greatest of all time. So you can see why he's called Chivo, which is his nickname. He's just so involved in every project that he's in, and you can just see he just gives 100% of everything. And there's just elements of this that he's carried into his whole career, and elements of this that that's come from his career. He's just, like you said, I'm going to use CGI for this. No, you're not, or I'm leaving the project. That's how much he believes in something.
Yeah.
There's such an organic and raw quality to all of this filmmaking, especially the visuals. And I think the visuals just really moved me in 2006 to just be like, really got to try better. There is no use of Steadicam here. There is nothing where it's got to be like beautifully pushed in and beautifully played through. It's everything Scorsese doesn't do, to be perfectly honest. Real understanding of the craft becomes more than the person, and that's exactly what this film is. It should be talked about a lot more in the craft and the technique, which I think it is, but should be talked about a lot more because the craft and the technique match the depth of this film, and that's incredibly hard to do, but Chivo does it.
Yeah, well, in the years after this film, Emmanuel Lubezki went on to forge a reputation as a great Hollywood DP, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't have the reputation yet when he made Children of Men, probably, but his work is still of that level. The cinematography is just incredible. I mean, it's the long one-shot takes that are probably the headline, if you like. People always talk about the car ambush and the Battle of Bexhill, rightly. But what I think gets a bit overlooked is how those long takes serve the story. It's not showing off. Well, it is a bit, but every time they hold a shot, it kind of feels like you can't escape. It does feel like a documentary. Yeah. It feels like the cameraman is in as much danger as the characters are, but it doesn't take you out either of the story.
No, exactly.
Yeah, but it's not just the long takes. The whole film's got that documentary feel to it. There's loads of natural light. The colours are really desaturated and gives the whole thing a kind of grey, overcast look, which works for, like, dystopia. It's like we're looking out the window where I live's been like for the last 3 months. Looks like Children of Men.
Same, yeah.
But I think what elevates Lubezki above most DPs is that he's not just technically brilliant, he's emotionally great as well.
Yeah.
He knows where to put the camera to make you feel something, or even to send a message. There's that shot when we're with Theo and Miriam in the abandoned school, and you can see Kay outside through a broken window sitting on the swing.
Shot. It's incredible.
She's like framed in light as the hope of everyone. That's a great shot.
Yeah, and they're just completely away from. They're in the past. They're in the school. She's in the future. Yeah, it's just it's a beautiful thing. The whole birthing scene, the way that's lit, the way that's shot,
stunning.
Is just incredible.
Yeah, outstanding work from Lubezki throughout. I think in terms of immersion, it's up there with anything I've ever seen. Probably.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, incredible work. I mean, this for me is what gives it that sense of this film is science fiction, but it's not science fiction at the same time because it does bring, like you've said, John, that documentary element to me, and it's always about catching images on the periphery, like when Theo gets off the bus and he just walks past those cages full of people screaming and yelling. It doesn't stop to look at them. It just brushes past them because it's almost like it's a character here. It's the same for the battle scenes. It doesn't stop to revel in the carnage or show off how expensive those explosions are. It keeps moving. It keeps tight on the characters. And because it feels so on the fly, when that camera stops to take in something, it's really impactful. I mean, we've talked about the scene where Jasper tells Key about Theo's baby, that slow push in just to keep on Theo's face to capture the emotion of that scene. That's incredible. So it's really immersive and taking you into the story, but it's very emotional cinematography at the same time.
Yeah, it is for sure.
So Lubezki has been Cuarón's DP collaborator since their student days at Mexico's CUEC Film School in the 1980s. Cuarón said some of Lubezki's first words to him about the film were, "We cannot allow one frame of this film to go without a comment on the state of things." And Cuarón said it took a lot of influence from the Battle of Algiers, an Italian-Algerian war film from 1966. And I think One Battle After Another took a lot of influence from that as well, which recently came out.
It did,
a lot of the Battle of Algiers is filmed handheld, which was an inspiration, and Cuarón and Clive Owen watched the Battle of Algiers together as well.
Yeah, there's an F.W. Murnau film called Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans from 1927, and Cuarón said the long takes there were an influence as well.
Wow.
Right. And more recently, it reminds me of A Clockwork Orange, that like bleak London.
That,
Yeah, you can definitely see that. Didn't shoot the car ambush like those zany joyride scenes in Clockwork Orange, though.
Imagine that.
The back projection,
Supergrass did, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. All right video,
And as well as shooting the car ambush without CGI, another creative disagreement came over whether to shoot with handheld cameras or a Steadicam. Lubezki wanted Steadicam as he thought it had more power than handheld, and they started with Steadicam, but after one day of filming, Cuarón told Lubezki to get rid of it, and they shot everything from their handheld.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so apparently Lubezki got the Steadicam out of the truck every morning, and every morning Cuarón told him to put it back. Lubezki like, any chance today?
No.
Although Lubezki did say later that Alfonso proved me wrong, he said.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
There is a recurrent visual theme in the film where death is often represented visually by oranges, as in the fruit. Right before the car ambush, Miriam is eating an orange in the back seat, and just before the Bexhill battle scene, Key and Mariska, their Romani helper, are eating oranges.
Well, we know where they got that from, don't we?
Yeah.
The Godfather. I think in that, the DP, Gordon Willis, said that he was just adding spots of colour to the frame. But since then, showing oranges has become like a classic way to foreshadow a character's death, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to the cinematography in the can, we have our third and final ATRM Patreon question. This time it comes from Matt T.
Hello, Matt.
Hello, Matt.
So Matt has said, who has done the best wanna, Birdman or Rope come to mind, and has it fallen into the territory of pastiche, something technically difficult, but done to death? Then Matt says, great work as always, thanks a million.
Okay. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks to you, Matt.
Thank you, yeah.
And what do you think, Westy? Too many wannas?
I've got a bit of a stance on this one, and I am getting a little bit sick of it being this whole new thing that people think is just being invented. Is really bothering us. And it's I mean, I've done a couple, and it's so difficult to choreograph and so difficult to put off, and you just get so happy that you've pulled it off, you forget about the content. I think if you can pull it off with just an incredible amount of content, then it works. And like we say, if it works for that claustrophobic theme, if it works to put the audience in the story, if it works for the story, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
If it's just a wanna for the sake of being a wanna, then I'm not interested. I think there's some incredible ones that I've seen over the years that have been inspirational, but I've never wanted to do. I think Goodfellas is an obvious standout. I think the opening of The Player is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Old Boy corridor fight is wonderful. That's really, really brilliant. Russian Ark, if you've not seen that, that's all about the story. That's fantastic. The whole D-Day sequence in Atonement was one where I was like, that makes perfect sense for what it is. But what I really want to talk about is, and I'll be brief, is the technique is necessary. And that's how film was made, because cutting was always a pain in the arse and people didn't know how to do it in old Hollywood. And it was all about capturing it on a soundstage. It was all about capturing it with one camera. They didn't use two, so they didn't really have all these fast cuts and all these action sequences. And it seems to me that modern cinema is going one way or the other. It's either going towards super fast cuts, high action, really intense, bam, 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 like shots being about 2 seconds, 1 second long, and you're flying through the action, or it's about this really slow, one take, everyone taking the time, dialogue-driven cinema, and we need to start meeting in the middle. And if we're going to talk about the one, I just want to talk about Spielberg for half a second, because he's the absolute king of the one that you do not know is a one.
Yeah.
And that's what filmmaking is. If you want to use that technique, use it, but don't shout about it. Use it.
Yeah.
And all that's changing is the background. Yeah. That's a wanna, and that's how you do it. There's when they're arguing next to the billboard with Vermeer.
Amazing.
2 minutes 45 seconds. That's a wanna.
Yeah.
And you don't realise it. That's how you do it. I mean, Saving Private Ryan, that whole ending when Upton's running through. That's about 1 to 2 minutes. There's the whole drinking sequence in Raiders of the Lost Ark with Marion. That is a wanna. Just one shot to a mid to that. It just saves time and it saves money, and it's genius in filmmaking. If you're invisible with it, use it, but let it serve the story, and you've got something unique. If you're just using a wanna for the sake of using a wanna because you think it's going to make your story better, it makes it worse. So that's my stance on it.
Powerful stance, as always.
As always.
Yeah, the long takes in Children of Men are right up there, I think. That's kind of became a Cuarón trademark, hasn't it? Because Gravity starts with like a 12-minute opening shot.
That's 12 minutes, I mean, you had to remember Tamien when she's going to the jukebox. That's about 3-4 minutes, I think.
Yeah. Other great examples, the opening of Touch of Evil by Orson Welles is right up there.
Yeah.
1958, like a huge crane shot that goes on, that's about 3 minutes long, ending with a car bomb. The Copacabana scene in Goodfellas is a classic, obviously. And more recently, Matt mentioned Birdman 1917. Both designs look like single takes, even though they're not. They both kind of blew me away. And my favourite, though, was from I Am Cuba by Mikhail Kalatozov, 1964. Like a documentary / war film. It's got this like acrobatic long take in a funeral scene where the camera does some insane
it just
things.
comes down from the window through the procession.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's unreal,
Check out if you've not seen it. You'll be like, how did they do that in 1964?
Scorsese watched that over and over, and he was like, how did they do that?
Right.
We need to be able to do it. He had no idea how it was done.
Brilliant. I mean, have long takes become pastiche? I agree with you, Westy. If they serve the story or they have a point or they're thematically relevant, then no, go for them. I love them when they're done well.
Yeah, very much agree. In terms of them being a pastiche, 100% agree with what both of you said. I think it's the first Kingsman film that do one for a fight scene, but it just doesn't work because the fights are very poorly choreographed and it doesn't add to the story and it just becomes distracting. Whereas if you can come up with one that serves the story, then by all means, absolutely go for it. I mean, one of the most impressive ones is there's a German film from 2015 called Victoria, which is about this young woman in a nightclub gets chatting to three guys, they walk around Berlin for a bit.
Brilliant. Yeah, I know you're a fan of that one.
Then realises they're in hock to a gangster and she ends up being taken for ride to rob a bank, and that is all, the whole film is one shot.
Wow.
And it's a staggering achievement because it's up and down buildings, it's in and out of cars, there's gunfights, chases. But, you know, that justifies it because it breeds the tension in that film. So,
exactly.
If it adds something, absolutely go for it. But if it doesn't add anything, don't do it.
Well, for his work on Children of Men, Emmanuel Lubezki was nominated for Best Cinematography at the Oscars. He lost out to Guillermo Navarro for Pan's Labyrinth.
Right.
Which is a visual feast, to be fair.
It is, to be fair.
It really is, it's wonderful,
But for us, some incredible cinematography throughout Children of Men.
Yeah, timeless. It's going to live forever, that. Yeah.
And that is our crew. Cuarón captaining the ship, but with his screenwriting team, John Taverner as composer, Emmanuel Lubezki as DP, and an array of great pop songs, he had a ship-shape crew helping him out.
Oh, indeed, yeah. Mm-hmm. The crew of the tomorrow.
Yeah.
The end.
Into the end of Children of Men, and things are about to get intense. The climactic battle of Bexhill at the refugee camp is coming up, but before that, we have a baby to talk about, don't we?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, having made it into Bexhill camp, Theo and Kay are taken through the ghettos by a Romani woman, Mariska, to the safety of a decrepit apartment building. There, Kay goes into labour and gives birth to a girl, the first human born in 18 years. We don't talk about big birthing scenes too often, do we, Matt?
Alien, that's about it.
But how's this one?
I mean, I just love how absolutely crap Theo is in this situation. He makes like a big deal of washing his hands clean and then just wipes them on his mucky trousers straight after anyway. So that negates all that. But I think they've formed such a good bond by now. There's just these little touches of comic relief in there now. Just keep breathing. I am breathing. And it's such an effective contrast because it's obviously the most wonderful and celebratory thing, bringing new life into the world without the extra importance of what this baby represents. But it's in the grimmest of surroundings, like those dogs outside are barking non-stop.
Yeah.
But then you get that swell on the soundtrack, that angelic chorus when the baby's born, and it tells you, just for this 1 minute, everything's okay. And like I said, their relationship by this point is so well developed. When Theo says to see, it wasn't that bad, and she just goes, oh yeah, not for you. And they just genuinely laugh.
Yeah.
Probably for the first time in probably years, like genuinely laughing at something. It's a beautiful moment, really well shot.
It is, yeah. It's a huge plot point, obviously. In this world, Kay giving birth is the most important thing that's happened for like 2 decades. And what I like is how Cuarón frames it as that, but really subtly. Because the biggest moments in the film he shoots as long takes. This is one of them. And it's lit, I think, only by that lamp in the corner.
It is, yeah.
It feels raw and intimate and totally real. Again, I feel like I'm in the room. I'm sick of being pulled into rooms by Cuarón. But there's a character moment here that I really love. Like I said earlier, Theo's arc's kind of going from a man who's lost to a man with purpose. And we see that spelled out, because up to now, that lack of purpose has been kind of visualised through Theo's addictions, like the cigarettes and alcohol, like Oasis. But now, like Oasis, he's found something worth living for in Kay. So he literally gives the cigarettes away to Sid to get rid of him so he can have some space. Then he uses the alcohol to sterilise his hands before the birth. He throws the crutches away to prioritise Kay. How smart's that in the writing?
Brilliant.
Yeah, great.
So Theo spent the film running away from responsibilities. Now, call the midwife. What knock that is. And I think it's fantastically handled by Cuarón and the film.
I think the lighting as well really helps to give that baby CGI doll
Yes.
a chance.
Yes,
that would have been a real problem.
I
think it totally pulls it off because of that, because the lighting does the heavy lifting there. They would normally have like an older baby in there, and you would just lift it up. I mean, it looks like a newborn, and it's so well done. And that's how you do the CGI in this film. It's so subtle. But again, I think it's Chivo just having that lighting.
I think the lighting probably does play a part in helping the CGI look real, doesn't it?
Look real, it totally works. Clive Owen said that Cuarón planned to shoot the birth sequence to have cuts in it to give him more control over what to show. And once they were on set, though, he decided to do it as one take. It was filmed as a 3.5-minute handheld shot. There were special effects involved by the effects studio Frame Store. It was headed by VFX supervisor Tim Webber, and Cuarón brought them in because they'd just worked with him on Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, we've interviewed Tim Webber, and it was the CGI hippogriff in Harry Potter. That's what Framestore did.
Right, okay, great, yeah.
Okay.
But changing this to one take that late means the crew must have been kind of improvising as they were going. And that's impressive.
Yeah.
I guess you can do it here a bit more easily. I mean, you can't decide to shoot the car ambush in one take on the day, surely.
No. I think something like this, though, you can change to one take as opposed to a multi-camera setup. It's easier to go to one take. It's harder to go from one take to be like, oh, we're going to have to cut into this. What
right,
we're gonna cut into. So I think if you've got it there storyboarded anyway and say, no, actually, just pull back and do it as a one-er, it's a bit easier to do it that way.
Yeah, fair enough, cool, yeah.
And a few different techniques were combined to create the birth scene. Claire Hope Ashity was in a set piece which had a fake lower body, and a prop baby was pushed through the fake body for Clive Owen to grab and hold.
Fake body. Yeah, similar to how they did the chest burst I seen in Alien.
Yep.
Yeah.
Imagine one of them popped out.
Yeah.
Give me that whiskey back.
Yeah. Even grimmer. Yeah.
That would have been a good start to Alien Earth, wouldn't it?
And Cuarón originally wanted to use an animatronic baby, and one was created that could move its arms and legs, but Cuarón wasn't happy with how it looked, and that's when Framestore got involved. In post-production, they replaced the animatronic baby with the CGI version.
That had other things in it as well, like when you can see the character's breath to make it look freezing cold. That's all digital. And Tim Webber said that at one of the screenings, an audience member asked him if they'd filmed somebody giving birth for real.
Wow.
Right.
Pretty good feedback.
High praise.
Yeah, great feedback, yeah.
Got to be a bit of an idiot though, haven't you, to think that?
Did you do that for real? Yeah. Didn't ask about the breath. That's fine. Was it cold in there? Was that just like rehash from Titanic as well, when people always stole that breath off Cameron, didn't they? Because he recorded it all digitally.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, they used it for Fight Club, didn't they?
Used it for Fight Club.
Yeah, yeah. And Webber said creating a digital baby was massively challenging because Cuarón changed the plan so late they didn't have time to prep as they normally would, and because the lighting was so minimal, it was more difficult for the animators to track and replace the animatronic baby digitally. The arms and legs were removed from the animatronic so they could be added as CGI limbs, and all the baby's facial expressions were created by the animators.
Right.
Yeah, just turning up on set like, all right, everyone, change your plan. But I mean, there's real pressure there because the baby, like we're saying, it has to look real. If it finally appears and looks like some crap CGI, it would be kind of laughable.
It's just the hope of the world.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and that's why there's so much work went into it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So after this, we've got the baby, and we're out, and we'll have to try and find a way out of there. And then these bastards turn up again. So we see the fishes, and do you notice it's the guy on the crutches?
What do you mean?
Who's leading them in?
Oh yeah.
So when they first get into Beck's Hill, it's like there's a guy on the crutches asking them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, do you need anything? And that. So he's obviously a spy for them.
Yeah.
They've broke the way in.
Oh, right,
They've killed God knows how many refugees to get through this. And that was the whole point. They're supposed to look after them. And if they'd just done it properly, if they'd just done it through talking and being human, it would have been absolutely fine. But they just see this baby as a symbol, as kind of a prize, as, like I said, a lottery ticket. And we get their ferociousness, and you get Theo's knocked down, and then we get that blading racist thing. I'm not going to go into all of that. I'm definitely not going to try it. But that's obviously just come from nowhere. A little bit of ad lib, and then it just kind of kicks off. The army start firing in. One guy's executed, and then it's just bam, 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 and then we're just away, and you're just gone with it. And once we're tracking down with Theo as he goes into that, into the side corner, and he's behind the wall. I love that performance from Owen, because it doesn't have to be that intricate. But if you watch his hands on the wall, he's kind of just going,
oh yeah,
like he's tapping the brick. He's like, when can I go? When shall I go? Because I'm going to need to go. And this shows a whole transformation of his character. He's actually putting himself in harm's way now. He's running into bullets to kind of get this kid back, to get Kay back, to make a difference again. It's just, you think we're there. We've had a moment of happiness again. We've had laughter. We've had the baby born. It's going to be all right, guys. No, it's not.
Yeah. Well, just before this scene's when Sid, the bent immigration officer guy, turns up trying to capture them for a reward.
Yeah.
He talks about himself in the third person, Sid. Never the sign of a good guy, that.
Yeah, always a red flag.
Yeah. And then when he chases him, he gets stuck in the door, and Theo knocks him out with what looks like a toaster. Is it?
It's a car battery.
Is it? Oh,
and he's using car parts to knock everybody out.
Right, yeah, right. But now we really
it's
start...
not like Scrooged.
Look, Sid, a toaster. But now we really start to see how far Theo has come, because at the start, he couldn't care less about anything. Now he's putting himself in real danger to protect Key and the baby. He's like 100% the protagonist from now on.
Yeah. And this is where he injures himself as well. And if you watch that, just after he knocks Sid out, he does injure himself on his right foot, and then he's just literally limping all the way through the rest of the film. It's amazing.
And the Romani woman who helps Theo and Key, Mariska, is played by Romanian actress Oana Pelia. Her lines are all in Romanian, but those were mostly ad-libbed by Pelia. The name Mariska is Russian, so she's possibly meant to be Russian, and Pelia is the daughter of an actor called Amza Pelia, who is a very big name in Romania.
Yeah, he was. Possibly how Cuarón knew she was. I like her in the film, Mariska, ranting away at him in a different language all the time. And she's brave as a lion. She saves him from Sid a couple of times, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's great.
I think it's quite sad when she doesn't get on the boat with him at the end. Get on the boat, for God's sake.
Great moment, though. She's just selfless. That's the whole point.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's just like the story that you would hear, like, we got help and we don't know who she is or where she is anymore. And she just cares more about a dog. I don't think she can take a dog.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. And Sid's played by Peter Mullen, Scottish actor. Been in loads of stuff over the years. He was in Braveheart, Westy.
Yeah. I think it's just his character is actually so pivotal to this, and I think really important that you can see that he had respect for Jasper, and it just shows how far Jasper could go with humans and different people, and he could just get on with this person who essentially is a fascist pig. But I just love that moment when he turns up, and Theo, that's it. That's your key word. Yeah. Calling somebody you don't know what he looks like, who's part of this regime, who's a guard in Bexhill, a fascist pig. That's you are going to get beat up. And I always feel like I'm really on edge at that point. When he brings the stick up.
Yeah,
he's
I am
got
as
the
well.
Wrong guy.
Yeah,
he's got the wrong guy.
Mm.
He's gonna lose it here. And then there's that great performance from Peter Mullen. He's so unhinged.
Yeah,
he's so past it all. But again, there's humanity there, because he's kind of like, make a sad face. He's just absolutely smashed in by all of this. And his motivation to get Key and to get Theo is that his mom's got cancer and she's dying, and he was with her the night before, and it's like, right, okay, I can get a reward here. I can probably get some money. These guys are refugees, are now the fugitives. So they're all Fugees within refugees, within fugitives, and it's all got
fugitives.
Yeah, it's all just kind of tied together, isn't it? It's kind of, if you want to buy something, if you look that wrongly, then you're a refugee or you're a fugitive, or it's all just beautifully tied together. And I think Peter Mullen, right in the middle of it, is so unhinged. It really, really ties the last act together. Really makes it push.
Great little scene when Sid turns up and he's like, "What's under the blanket there, Key?" When she's got the baby and she doesn't want to show him. That's really good.
Yeah.
And then when he does see the baby, what does he say? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Amazing. Love that. And in the Bexhill Tower block scene, we can see that Theo is wearing a London 2012 Olympics fleece. London had won the bid in 2005, just before they started filming, so that was added 6 years before the Olympics took place. And you can buy those fleeces online.
You can.
Amazing.
A prediction they were confident would come right, that one, probably, I think.
Yeah.
Would have been impressive if they had Theo doing the Mobot after the baby's born or something.
Oh, yeah.
Celebration.
Amazing if the baby did it, if it was an animatronic. Give birth to Mo Farah. Saviour of the world.
So there it is, a pivotal plot point with Key giving birth and hope to humanity before the fishes make off with her. There's only one man can save her now, right?
Mm-hmm. Apparently so.
The climax of Children of Men is a big one. Theo races through the bombed-out Bexhill to rescue Key and her baby from the fishes while a full-scale battle rages around them until Key appears with the newborn.
I mean, here's probably, apart from the ambush sequence, the sequence that is Children of Men is known for. I think this is absolutely incredible. Off the back of, like I said, what Spielberg would do on the likes of Saving Private Ryan, there's bits in that where it's running from one across the street to another one's bell tower. There's a tank, there's explosions, there's all of this stuff going on. Cuarón's seeing that and he's like, well, let's do something similar to that. And I think it's just an incredible sequence. The amount of choreography involved in this, there's explosions, there's people firing rockets out of windows, there's just people getting gunned down. He has to find all of these different bits to hit. He's in a bus and that gets hit when he sees Patrick running back and he's now firing at refugees. So everyone's completely lost it. Everyone just has no idea what's going on. It's just this real scramble for this prize at the end. And he's got to get into that tower and he's got to get upstairs. And I just love that opening moment. And you've got the running through and you've got them big moments, like I say, with that rocket coming down. It hits the tank. There's all that going on. And then these guys walk out with the white flag of like, we'll give up, it's all done. And I feel like they've just been sent out to just like, right, let's see if they're serious or not, and they just gun them all down and that's them done for. And then there's amazing bit again when they're in the bus and there's just that blood that hits the lens but doesn't necessarily take you out of the moment. And then we're following Theo all the way through. And I do think that there's a cut. I'm not going to be like, there's definitely is, but this is the only place where there could be, when he goes inside and they use the darkness to kind of mask it.
Yeah.
And then he's inside the lobby. But to continue that on, I do think that they added that blood later on in like VFX and added it onto the lens, because if you watch it slowly kind of just disappears.
Right.
Yeah. So I think they've just put a little bit of a gradient on it, put the blood spots in where they need to be, so it looks like it's all one continuous take. And then they faded it away. So from outside to inside, they've just masked the blood so it looks the same.
Right.
And that's digitally. And then he works his way upstairs, and we just see the absolute carnage that's going on. It's just hell on earth. You see Patrick coming in, he gets taken out. Thank God for that. He's he's out of there. And then we'll find Key just sat, just totally helpless, totally defenseless, and Luke's meant to be the one looking after her, and she's totally separate from him, couldn't be any further away from him, and he's totally lost it. But you get that really wonderful moment from that character where he's like, when he saw the baby, I forgot how small they are, and he made us cry. It's awful, and it's like, look, man, if everyone just stop. That's what you want everyone to do, is just stop. This is just ridiculous. But you get that great moment where he's like, we need him, we need the baby, and it's like, it's a girl, Luke. Right. I didn't even think about that. So his worldview does not even tap in to anything that he actually would have been. He didn't comprehend it. He just thought, well, the saviour of the human race needs to be a man. Children of men, masculinity, we're the saviours, nothing to do with women, they just exist. And I think that really smashes it home without smashing it home.
Yeah.
Because then he turns the gun on the baby as if the baby's not important anymore.
Yeah.
As if Key's not important anymore, as if Theo's not important anymore. He wants the saviour of this world. In his worldview, if it's not a man, it isn't going to work.
Yeah.
That's really important, that. And that's just very, very subtly done. Really excellent character development. Really excellent ending to that guy when he's just, the whole room kind of blows up and collapses. He's gone. Everyone's gone. How we're going to get out of this now? What a one shot that is. It's just incredible filmmaking.
Oh, yeah, it really is. I mean, we're with Theo every step. No big cutaways, no big wide shots. We kind of see what Theo sees. And it's not Arnold or Bruce Willis dodging bullets and taking out bad guys with one-liners. He's totally out of his depth, like scrabbling about behind walls and stuff. But he's still heroic because he just keeps going. Yeah. And when the bullets start whizzing around him, I'm almost looking for cover myself.
Yeah.
And the way they build the whole sequence, I think, is really brilliant, because it starts really quiet, like tense, and then gradually escalates into just complete carnage. The action filmmaking is just exceptional.
Yeah, it's just so immersive. You're ducking, you're hiding on a bus, you're off the bus, shrapnel everywhere. The British troops are just swarming out of everywhere, and you don't know where they're coming next. Blood on the camera, explosions. Then upstairs we see Luke making his last stand, but as we've been saying, he's kind of losing perspective on everything, because he's still trying to stop Theo and Key get away while fighting the army. The amount of moving pieces that Cuarón is in charge of here, and he hasn't given himself the comfort blanket of being able to cut away to something else at any point. It's absolutely staggering. I think it's interesting when you look at all the soldiers, how many of them are kind of middle-aged men, because there's just no young men to get in the army, which you normally see as the soldiers in this situation. There's no young men anymore. And there is a genuinely funny moment when Theo's rescued Key and they're getting out there, and obviously the baby's crying, and Theo goes, how is she? And Key just goes, annoyed, and then just keep on going. I love that moment.
Brilliant.
I mean, by the end, I'm exhausted just watching it. Fantastic, really unconventional action sequences. One of the best shootouts of the decade, do you think?
Mm-hmm.
It's up there,
Yeah, for sure.
As you can imagine, the street battle was a big undertaking. The shot runs for 6 minutes and 18 seconds, and it took Cuarón, Lubezki and the crew 14 days to prepare and choreograph. It was filmed in 5 separate takes at 2 locations, a disused RAF base in Upper Hayford and Pinewood Studios. The different shots were then all digitally stitched into one continuous shot by double negative.
Yeah, so with it being so highly choreographed, every retake took about 5 hours to set everything back up again. So really time consuming.
Pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And that apartment block, that's a disused building at that RAF base. Great location for the scene.
Perfect, yeah.
But during filming, the studio started getting concerned about how long it was taking them to prepare and shoot the battle. When Cuarón had nothing to show them after a few days, executives visited the set. They did a really good take, but at the end, the camera operator George Richmond tripped and fell, and they had one final attempt to get the shot, but they did manage to do it.
Can you imagine? 2 weeks and the guy trips. But nightmare.
Yeah.
But George Richmond's the son of Anthony B. Richmond, who was quite a well-known DP. He shot Don't Look Now, The Man Who Fell to Earth, and Legally Blonde. Shot that as well.
Blonde, highlight, obviously. Yeah.
There's a moment in the sequence where some blood splatters on the camera lens. Cuarón saw it happen and shouted, "Cut," but he was drowned out by the sound of the explosion, so the crew kept going. Cuarón wasn't sure about it, but Lubezki convinced him to keep it in.
And Cuarón said that when they got the blood on the lens, it wasn't planned and he was gutted. But then Chivo started dancing and he said, "It's a miracle," so they kept it in.
Amazing. I'll remember that. I'll see if that works next time I fuck up. It's a miracle. Oh, well, fine. So now we get probably one of the most... well, it's just an amazing sequence. It really is. It's just a really profound sequence. And probably one of the best in the film for me, when everything just starts to stop. Like I said, that's all you want to happen. And it just, and people start hearing the baby, they see the baby, and everyone from every walk of life, no matter what they're fighting, no matter what they're doing, no matter what they believe in, stops and just appreciates what's walking past them. It's like the second coming. It's like everybody's just floored by it. And what I love about this is that it's not like the end of Mother.
God.
Which it could have been.
Thank
Everyone
God for that.
everyone trying to snatch the baby, Kate just completely alone, him having to sacrifice himself, pushing her out, all of that. It could have been written that way, where there's just this panic, but there's not. There's this just calm. It's absolute unity in good, unity in hope, unity in faith. And we see Thomas from the farm earlier on, he lowers his gun. You see everybody who's just all the immigrants in there, you think, well, they're going to be on the side, and they are, and everyone's the same, and you think, well, it's fine as long as it's just the guys who we know are on their side, the guys who are fighting against the army. Then the army turn up, and it's just, no, ceasefire, everyone stop, everybody standing together, watching what's happening, because the baby just represents hope, and also how much people have given up on hope.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's just there, and the fact that as soon as that hope passes, it's forgotten about so quickly. The problem can be fixed. So do we as a human race want to fix the problems? Or are we just happy having problem after problem after problem until we're fucking nothing else?
Yeah.
And that's what the film's saying. We're not happy until we're extinct.
Yeah. It's great as well because earlier Luke justifies taking the baby by saying the newborn will not bring peace. And then here, that's literally exactly what it does.
Exactly what it does, yeah.
Yeah. The humanity in people does still exist, maybe. And the way it's put together is great. No music. The camera follows Theo and Kay down the stairs, through the corridors, out through the street. And the silence spreads like a wave. This definitely has a religious feel to it, to me. And I mean, it doesn't last. They'll start shooting again almost immediately. But just for a second, there is hope. And that's the point, I think. Kay's brought hope back, not just to Theo, but to everyone.
And what I really love about it as well, it's not like any other filmmaker would have a reason for that to start again. Like it would be Luke throwing a grenade out, or it'd be Luke, like you would cut on him going, "No, I'm not letting you get away with this," and then throw it and it would start again.
All the tropes for you, Westy.
I know, but it's so easy to fall into the tropes.
No, absolutely, yeah.
It's so easy to fall into that cliche, and there's not one of them evident. It's what you expect because you've seen it that many times.
Yeah.
You would expect him, he'd be slowly dying, thinking if I die, I'm taking everybody with us.
Yeah.
But it's just a random, anonymous RPG out the window. That's it, we're finished, doesn't matter, bang.
Yeah.
So it's, again, a really brilliant way to do it.
It is really good.
Yeah, I mean, Westy said he's glad it wasn't like the end of Mother. I'm glad it wasn't like the bit in Shawshank when Andy plays this song through the speakers and all the prisoners are just like dumbstruck. Because it works really well there, but it could be a little bit over the top if they try to do it similarly. I love how there's a different reaction from everyone. I mean, some people are really emotional, probably because it's the first baby they've seen in absolute years. Some of the younger guys out there are just dumbstruck because it's the first time they've ever seen a baby and they don't know how to react to it. But again, for me, what you've been saying, the most realistic thing of all, it'll last for about 30 seconds and then someone starts shooting again because children of men, nature of men.
It's not the end of the film though. We go straight into the denouement. Mariska leads Theo and Kay to a boat. Theo rows Kay out to sea and the human project ship The Tomorrow appears from the mist.
Yes.
I mean, it's great because we see Mariska is just that pure force of good. She's totally selfless. She's totally let them go. Whether she's going to distract and move people out of the way if they're going to come for the baby, again, that just ties into Miriam, it ties into Jasper, it ties into everyone who's helped them, who has a conscience and has a faith, and they believe the faith is going to save them ultimately, and that's exactly what she does. And I love the visuals here. I love the fact that they're just rowing into the fog and that it's uncertain.
It's really understated, because Theo's arc's complete. He started the film as a hopeless bureaucrat guy, and he ends it by giving it all up to save humanity. I love that to this point we're not even sure if the human project exists, so their rival's huge.
Yeah.
I love that we don't see what happens next. I love the ambiguity, how we don't know if Theo's dead or not at the end. That's surely taken from the end of Shane, the classic Western, where he rides off on his horse and we don't know if he's dead or not. But it's so perfect here as well, because Theo's arc's tied up, the narrative's tied up, and the themes are all given like a nice full stop. And visually, out at sea all alone, and the ship comes out of the mist. It's just like the perfect ending, I think.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, classic ending, really. Is the hero dead? Is he alive? Is he just wounded? I love that kind of ambiguity, and it works really well here. I think the music's great, and I just really respect the fact that it doesn't tie everything up in a neat little bow. They've got key to safety, and that's all anyone can hope for. It might come to nothing, it might solve nothing, but at least there's a little bit of hope now.
There's definite hope, because over that last title, we've got kids' voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Which proves that we're going forward with this. The
Yeah,
voices are there again, because Miriam said when the voices faded, everyone's hope did.
Yeah.
And now the voices are there in the playground again, and we can hear them.
Yeah.
So we're left thinking that this is, it's literally not a film about the film, it's a film about what's going to happen next, and that's up to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the sound of children's laughter at the end, kind of, that's him saying everything's going to be all right, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah. The end of the novel is very different to the film. In the book, Theo kills his cousin, Zan Lapierre, in the Warden of England, to protect Julian and the baby. He then takes the coronation ring from Zan's finger and puts it on his own, taking on Zan's position as Warden of England. Yes! Warden of England. That's my fucking position, that, if there ever was one. Westy, Warden of England.
So the ambiguity there is whether or not Theo will become corrupted by power. The ending here is miles better for what Cuarón's made, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It would be like Lord of the Rings. He's like, yeah, why shouldn't I keep it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Cut, children and men, children's voices.
So, Key names her daughter Dylan after Theo and Julian's child Dylan, but it has a wider meaning too. Dylan is a Welsh name that means son of the sea or born of the ocean, which is fitting, seeing that's where they take her after she's born.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice bit of symbolism there. Everything connecting to the sea and rebirth. Not Bob Dylan, as I was hoping for.
No, not really. No. The Human Project don't exist in the book. They were created by the writers for the film. The idea is that they're a group of scientists who have been working on a cure for the infertility in the Azores, which is why Julian wanted to get the baby to them and arrange the rendezvous.
Yeah. I like how Theo doesn't even find out they might not be real until the in Bexhill on the bus, no going back. He's furious.
It's just like, have you spoken to any of them? No, for fuck's sake.
So that takes us to the end of Children of Men, a pretty epic battle sequence, and Theo does it. Key and Dylan are rescued, and there is hope for humanity.
There is.
A fitting way to finish.
The only way to finish.
Reception and awards.
So that is the story of Children of Men, and it opened in cinemas on 22nd of September 2006. How did it do on its release? Well, if the Human Project was looking for someone to give birth to some box office data, they'd have called Matt. So let's hear it, Matt.
So production budget was $76 million and Children of Men grossed $105.4 million worldwide, so not exactly setting the box office alight. And at the Oscars, it was nominated for 3 awards but won none. As we've said, screenwriters were nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, Lubezki was nominated for Best Cinematography, and as well as those, Alfonso Cuarón and Alex Rodriguez were nominated for Best Film Editing, but they lost out to Thelma Schoonmaker for The Departed.
Who's to than Thelma Schoonmaker, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Marketing experts, whatever that is, have given a few reasons for the film not performing well at the box office. The marketing agency Creative Partnership designed 8 poster variations before the film came out, and Key was almost entirely absent from all of them, and Clive Owen was positioned as playing a big action role. The tagline was, "He must protect our only hope."
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
He does. He must protect our only hope.
But yeah, that's not what the film is it?
No.
Definitely not.
And the theatrical trailer emphasised a romantic plot between Theo and Julian, and TV spots used music that wasn't in the film, with Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones prominent in the marketing.
Romance, shot in the throat 30 minutes in.
Exactly, yeah.
And don't tease me with the Stones and leave them out. That's not odd.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Gimme Shelter's such like a on-the-nose reference as well
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
film, isn't it?
It really is.
It is.
And in 2006, digital marketing was taking off, but it seems like Universal didn't take advantage of it. There was no guerrilla marketing, ARGs, or viral campaigns.
Yeah, V for Vendetta, that was the same year, and that Guy Fawkes mask was like everywhere, from what I remember.
That's right, it was.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I remember nothing for this. And they released it in the US on Christmas Day.
Jesus.
It was up against Happy Feet and The Holiday. Merry Christmas.
It's not giving it a fighting chance.
It's
It
not
really
like,
isn't.
In any stretch of the imagination.
Penguins or Winslet? Neither. Cuarón for me. Christmas Day.
Yeah. Grim dystopia, please.
Yeah.
On to the critics, and we'll start, as is typical, with Roger Ebert. What did the big man make of the film, do we think?
I think you would have enjoyed it, but not thoroughly. So maybe 3.
Yeah, I'll go 3.
It was full marks from Rog.
Oh, was
wow.
it full? Right.
4 stars out of 4, and he said, Cuarón fulfills the promise of futuristic fiction. Characters do not wear strange costumes or visit the moon, and the cities are not plastic hallucinations, but look just like today, except tired and shabby. Here is a world ending not with a bang, but a whimper, and the film serves as a cautionary warning.
Indeed.
Bang on from Rog,
Yep,
to the
as
surprise
always.
of nobody, surely.
Yep.
Peter Travers of Rolling Stone ranked Children of Men as his second best film of the decade and said, Children of Men is indisputably great. No movie this decade was more redolent of sorrowful beauty and exhilarating action. You don't just watch the car ambush scene, you live inside it. That's Cuarón's magic. He makes you believe.
He does.
Yep, true.
Yeah, There Will Be Blood #1, if anyone's interested.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's up there for me.
Yeah.
To be fair.
We've also covered that one, so get stuck into it.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
And writing for Empire magazine, Damon Wise gave the film 4 stars out of 5 and said, a visually stunning Swiftian satire, Children of Men may appear clumsy, but its message is simple, heartfelt, and ultimately rather moving.
Nice.
Not sure I agree it appears clumsy. That's like intentional handheld camera work, surely?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if that's what you got from it, yeah, that's not its intent.
It's fared better over time, though. Today on Rotten Tomatoes, Children of Men has an 85% audience approval rating and a very big 92% from critics. And on IMDb, a respectable score of 7.9 out of 10.
Yeah, I think this might be one that for a lot of people gets better with repeat viewings, maybe.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely
100%.
does.
Yeah. So, Children of Men struggled at the box office and awards ceremonies on its release, a not great marketing campaign, and a Christmas Day suicide release. But over time, it does seem to have found its audience.
Yeah, deservedly
Yes.
so.
Yeah. Watch it if you got a quietus for Christmas.
Sequels and influence.
If Alfonso Cuarón wasn't up for making a Harry Potter sequel, it seems very unlikely he'd return to do Children of Men too, and that's how it played out. No sequel. What about the film's influence and legacy, though? What kind of impact has Children of Men had since 2006, do we think? Westy?
I think we've seen nothing but the influence of this film since that time. I think any film that's looking at a near future or a dystopian future or something that is grounded in that realistic element without it being, overly bleak, but it's got that bleak tone or undertone to it, and some of them have been overly bleak, but a lot of them have tried to create some kind of sense from it, and I think they've taken Cuarón's lead. Noticeably, I think in the likes of The Road, has very much like
definitely.
an anti-Blade Runner aesthetic, has exactly the same kind of aesthetic, and even in different countries it's really worked. Films like The Rover, if you haven't seen that, it's
Yes,
very, very
that's a
similar
good
in its
film.
tone and its aesthetic. It's a brilliant film. And leaning more into the sci-fi element that Cuarón didn't go into, I think you would agree with this one, John, with the likes of District 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think has a very similar tone, especially the Bex Hill vibe.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think it kind of it exists within that. I think The Lobster has very similar tones, but I think the most obvious in all of this is the design, the playability, and the success of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I think the whole set design, the whole aesthetic, the whole vibe is kind of painted into that. I mean, if you imagine Children of Men with zombies, you have The Last of Us, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been very, very prevalent, very, very obvious. I think the style of the cinematography, the style of the storytelling, the ability to have this dystopian world without fear of what people think of it, even though it flopped, I think it's been very, very influential to creatives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think it's had a big influence since it came out. I mean, before this, dystopian futures were often pretty far-fetched, like advanced technology and stuff. Children of Men did it by just taking the current world and moving it forward just slightly, a few years. I see that in Charlie Brooker in Black Mirror.
Oh, in Black Mirror all the time, yeah.
Yeah. Filmmaking-wise, I think there was a clear influence with the long take sequences, like Atonement by Joe Wright came out the year after this, 5-minute shot in Dunkirk Beach. Cuarón did the same again in Gravity. That kind of became his thing. And then, like we talked about, Sam Mendes, when 1917, filmmakers started doing whole films as one take, or seeming to be one take. And he won the money, Westy, because I saw an interview with Neil Druckmann, who's the head of Naughty Dog, the video game company behind The Last of Us. And he said this was like the major influence when they created that idea of the beat down adult escorting a young woman who was humanity's last hope. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So I just thought like the aesthetic of the look, you know, when the deer's running through the school.
Yes. Yeah.
Just them little bits. I'm like, oh, right. Like the hotels and everything just smashed in and all the buildings and everything was just like, I can imagine navigating that world. I didn't think of it like thematically as well. Yeah. That's really interesting,
Yeah, so it didn't make much money at the time or win any Oscars, but I think it's became one of those films that other creators seem to study.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add another two because I agree with everything you said and I had much the same, but I think Her, the Spike Jonze film, it's obviously very different tonally, but it has that vibe of it's set in the future, but it's not futuristic like this one. Well, that one feels like that's only a few months away, which I think The Children of Men has that similar kind of feel, but a different tone. And a film we've mentioned already, but Mother, the Darren Aronofsky film, because the last 10 minutes of that, when that house gets invaded and the military charge in, they're putting people in cages and they're lining people up to be shot. That whole sequence to me felt very, very Children of Men.
Yeah, definitely.
So no sequels for Children of Men, rightly so, probably. But in terms of influence, from Hollywood to video games to TV, Children of Men did make an impact. And unlike its box office, its legacy seems to have grown stronger.
Yep, really has.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
All the Right Movies ranking.
And here we are, the end of Children of Men. Now it's time for our ratings, where we each score the film out of 10. Westy, it was your choice, so you want to lead us in your summary and score for Children of Men, please?
I will do. I've got a lot of appreciation for this film, which doesn't mean I've got a lot of love for it, but I've got a lot of time for it. I think I really appreciate the techniques here. I really appreciate that it's so ballsy in its delivery and what it's trying to say, and that it's so on the money. It was so right and so well thought through and so well produced, and it's just an amazing piece of filmmaking, and it is just wonderfully done, and it's just something to marvel at from a creative, from a visual creative. You kind of get much better than this as some real inspiration and influence. Having said that, as a cinema goer, and the first time you watch the film, do you get everything that you need from it? Does it hit all of the notes that it wants to hit? And do you get enough from it to follow it and go, I was really moved by that as a narrative story? Or is it more just about the visuals and technique? I would recommend this film knowing exactly what a first time watch is going to bring, but you don't really appreciate this film until the third or fourth time that you've seen it, because you can't get everything out of it on the first one. It's just too fast. Yeah. It's too thin. It's not made for that. It's made to impact you in a certain way, and we know exactly what you're going to get from it from the opening sequence. So from then, it's a film that you've really got to dive into, and a film you've really got to study, and a film that you really want to watch 2 or 3 times. And that's a difficult thing to do, especially nowadays. So I'm going to take 1 point off it because it doesn't hit with everything that it should the first time. Technically, it's perfect, but it's a 9 out of 10 for me. The third, fourth time you watch it, it's a perfect film, but you've got to give it the time.
Yeah, well, like I said at the top, I was really impressed with this when I first saw it, and if anything, I think it's got better with time.
Yeah,
read the book as a teenager, and that can be dangerous, judging against that, can't it? But what I think is impressive is how much Cuarón's changed without feeling like he's betrayed the book.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like 2 separate things, actually, when you've described the book and then the film.
Yeah, they are much closer than what the narrative changes make it tonally. The book's identical to the film, pretty much.
Right.
And he made a film that now I actually prefer to the book. I love the character writing. Theo was the personification of that theme of lost hope and finding it again. Great. Cléo Bachetti as Key is a bit of a revelation in a first major film role, I think. And the technical filmmaking is just extraordinary. The long takes, the way Cuarón uses the background to build the world. I love all that documentary realism. And thematically, it became more relevant after it came out, if anything. Immigration and totalitarianism, pandemics, probably the most prescient science fiction film of the century. A bit of a masterclass in science fiction filmmaking to me. Intelligent, moving, thrilling when it needs to be, and massively relevant. It's not one of my favourites, but it is superb, and it's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I mean, this one's been such a great voyage of discovery for me. Like, I'd never dismissed this film, but like I said, I just hadn't watched it a lot. And it's not one I'd given the time it deserves to appreciate its many, many qualities. It's a perfect blend of technical wizardry, but done with heart and soul behind it. It's not just Cuarón showing off what he can do with the camera for the sake of it. He's telling a very emotional and a very relevant story at the same time. And that's what will always resonate with me going forward. And as much as I'm not ever going to be excited by Clive Owen leading this, that's not going to be the main thing anymore whenever I think about watching Children of Men. It's going to be the depth of writing. It's going to be about how terrifyingly prophetic it is. Like, and maybe for that reason, I don't know when I'll come back to this again, but I definitely will, because it's a great, great film, and I'm also giving it a 9.
All the 9s.
Nice.
Unlike the world of the film, our community of ATRM patrons haven't gone quiet yet, and we also put this out there to them to get their thoughts on Children of Men. So Ian Joyner said, easily one of the best 21st century films set in Britain, hugely underrated and gets better on rewatches. The car chase, the jump start, the Bexhill siege, incredible feats of blocking and camera work, King Crimson, Battersea Power Station, and pulling Michael Caine's finger. What more do you need? 10.
Okay.
That's the whole film.
You need 10.
Hilton Thompson said it still holds up. Visually, the cinematography, editing and sound design is brilliant, and the story feels like the near future. But the performances, with the exception of Clay Hope Asherty, feel off for me. Pam Ferris with dreads and a grungy Michael Caine? No thanks. 8.
Fair enough.
Right.
Wow.
2 marks obliterated by grungy Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Just doesn't like hair, does he?
Yeah. Michael Cobain. And Oliver Betts said, Children of Men is a criminally underappreciated masterpiece. It looks and sounds the business. An absolute masterclass in one-as. Career best performances from Clive Owen and Chiwetel Ejiofor, and it's Michael Caine's last great role with a cracking Barnett to boot. It's one of the easiest 10 on 10s ever. Michael Caine's Barnett gets a mention from everyone.
Last performance, though.
Last great performance.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
That's good to see.
The
Definitely not surely.
wasn't he?
Still with us.
So, mostly very positive from our followers and patrons, and altogether, they rated the film, what do you think, out of 10?
Oh,
It's a tough one. It's very positive, and I'm going to say a 9 as well. I'm just going to stick to my guns here.
I'll go 9.5.
Ooh.
You're right, Westy. It was a 9 out of 10.
There we go.
All right.
So that's all the 9s. In total, that gives Children of Men 36 out of 40.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And we're done on Children of Men. Hopefully it hasn't made you want to row out into the middle of the ocean and just give it all up.
Well, not much doesn't.
Yeah. I don't include you in them, Westy, because...
Yeah, you know the crack. Yeah, you know the crack.
Well, next time out, clear your diary, call the fire department, because Luke, Westy and Matt are heading to the Glass Tower to take on the disaster classic that is The Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
Massive cast, massive film, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Massive tower.
Massive tower.
Brilliant film.
Well, in the meantime, to find out more about becoming a patron, supporting what we do, and accessing our archive and all the bonus episodes, you can visit patreon.com/alltherightmovies or subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Also, please follow us on the podcast platform of your choice, and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else. That really helps us out.
It does,
Yeah,
guys.
it really, really does. Thanks, guys.
So you can keep up with All the Right Movies on X, formerly Twitter, where we are at @ATRightMovies. We post threads on there telling the stories behind classic films. Everything we post has been said by someone involved in the production or comes from 3 separate sources. We follow the same rule in our podcast, so go check that out. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/alltherightmovies, on Instagram and Threads, on Blue Sky, on TikTok, and we have a movie group on Facebook full of great people, great chat as well. So go join that. And our website, full of great features, alltherightmovies.com.
Lovely.
We're all off now to see if Michael Caine has any strawberry cough left. Do come back for Towering Inferno though, and as always, thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you so much for listening, guys.